Hello, good evening. This is Brother Benson Media, and today is on Monday. We are blessed to have this opportunity to continue, of course, with the discussion. As usual, a discussion that is geared towards the betterment of our country. And part of what we talk about here, just, you know, our political views, of course, which are geared towards the betterment of our political uh, environment. I want to take this opportunity to welcome our guest, Mr. Barak, and not forgetting, I can see in the comment section, good year and Judith. Thank you so much for finding time to join us this evening. We really appreciate. I'll give you a chance, Mr. Barak, to say hi before we proceed.
Good evening, Marco Bura. I hope you are well. And let me say hi to Goodia and Judith Carita. And the rest will join us later on. Thank you.
So, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Barak, for finding time to join us this evening. We really appreciate. And I just want us to get straight to the discussion that we are that is on. I mean, the topic that we are having over here. Tanzania's president sworn in amidst chaos. The Republic of Kenya sent Kindiki, who is the deputy president, to represent Kenya. Of course, the world is also reacting, giving their view on what they think about the election that was carried out in Tanzania. Of course, there are so many questions which are coming up, but you understand the Constitution of the Republic of Tanzania do not give a chance for people or political parties to question or to even get to court whether they have hata kama wako na malalamishi ama wana, maisha yanaendelea. So that is part of what we want to discuss here tonight, and I'll get straight to the discussion. Mr. Barak, what is your take on the swearing in that took place today in Tanzania, where President Mama Suluhu Hassan was today sworn in as the president of Tanzania? Of course, amidst what people are calling chaos, and not just that, there are several reactions from the the international observers and also the observers giving their view on what they saw in Tanzania. Not just that, the human activists have also come out to give their version or their way, their view of what happened in Tanzania, where it is claimed that there was several people who were killed as they were demonstrating. You remember, on Wednesday when these elections were being carried out, there were consistent protests in the entire country, that is in Tanzania, and that led to quite a lot. There was disruption of power, internet, among others, and there wasn't any news that was coming out. People really were in dark, especially the people who are not staying over there, and they were wondering what was happening. So today, we saw the president being sworn in. It is not a celebration that's similar to what we've always seen, where we've always seen dignitaries, presidents, and all those going to attend. But again, remember the president, William Samoei Ruto, did send his congratulatory message to Tanzania, but that of course sparked a lot of reaction on social media, where the people of Kenya, amongst them, I saw Anifa, the activist, among others, they were saying that the congratulatory message was a personal, not really on behalf of the people of Kenya. I'll give you a chance, Mr. Barak, to just give us your take on what you think about the general election, the swearing in, the views of the world and the East African leaders, of course, together with the views of the people of Kenya, not just the people of Kenya, the activists, the observers, amongst others. Mr. Barak, what was your observation?
Well, the President of the Republic of Tanzania, the United Jamhuri ya Muungano ya Tanzania, has been sworn in, and it is not our responsibility to elect a president in Tanzania. They are a sovereign state, and they elect their leader according to the laws that are in place there. So once a president has been elected, people sometimes they just portray their ignorance on social media, because once a president has been elected and has been sworn in, it is now what we call diplomacy. You cannot start now saying that I will not have a relationship with Tanzania because Samia Suluhu is the president. That is what we call ignorance. The people who don't understand how international relations work, because every state is a sovereign state. And the state of Kenya is represented by William Ruto, who is the president. Now the state of Tanzania will be represented by Samia Suluhu, who is the president. So whoever President Ruto says is he's speaking as Kenya, not as individual, not personal, his personal views. That is because he is the representative of Kenya in the international relations. Therefore, you cannot claim that when he speaks on behalf of Kenya, you say it's personal because you do not support him. So that is not how international relations work. So those are people who are just displaying their ignorance on social media, which is and it's allowed because those are then they do not represent the country. They represent their own because they are individuals who do not hold positions of power. So, I hear according to the constitution of Tanzania, you cannot challenge the presidential election in court. But now, which party could have challenged the electoral in court? Because Chadema did not take part in the election. So all those other 17 individuals, 16 individuals who took part in the elections, they were even attending the swearing-in ceremony. So who could have challenged that? Yeah, who could have challenged? So that shows that if Chadema did not take part in the election, then they cannot go to court to challenge the results because they were not part of the election. So that is unfortunately that is how it will work. Samia is going to be the president for the next 5 years, and I don't know who, this sovereignty thing is giving many people a lot of problems because sovereignty means that a country must make decisions without external interference. And remember, in this country, when Uhuru was running in the repeat election 2017, when the NASA brigade withdrew from the election, Uhuru was actually running against himself. And and remember when even some activists went to court to challenge the results, NASA was not part of that suit. They said we were not part of that election. So therefore, Uhuru was actually running against him. The same way Samia was running against herself in Uganda, in Tanzania. So once a political party withdraws from an election or boycotts an election, that will not stop election from going on. And the Kenyans experienced the same in 2017, but when most of them are behaving as if they've already forgotten about that. So these are practices. By a political party with refusing to participate in an election or boycotting an election does not stop a ruling party from going on with the election, because elections are not, you cannot be forced to participate in an election. It is a democratic practice that you participate in willingly. You will not be forced. So when you realize that there are issues that maybe are not working in your interest in that election, you might decide to stay away. But that will not stop election from going on. So elections went on, and by the swearing in of Samia Suluhu, that period is now closed. Yeah, whether you like her or not, whether you like the process or do not like the process, that chapter is closed. Now they are opening a new chapter of national reconciliation or national rebuilding, and that is that now Tanzanians will come together and see what they can do to ensure that they try to rectify whatever they did that did not go well with most of the people who are on the street. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Barak. Maybe something else that you as a professional in this field, I would want you to just give your view on is, uh, you know, how the elections were carried out. And remember, majority of the opposition boycotted the election. And out of that, we saw a situation where out of 272 constituencies in Tanzania, 270 uh, constituency voted in CCM leaders, and only two went to the opposition. My question to you is, what is your take on how that parliament will be run, and what are the consequences, or how would it look like having parliament that has a full majority of 100, I mean, that is 99, if I'm not wrong, percent of a parliament that is consisting of members coming from one political party, that is the ruling party. And again, remember, there were majority of those in the opposition side who never got the opportunity or boycotted the election. What is your take? How is Tanzania going to move on with a huge, or with this dissatisfied group of people who are in the opposition side? And how again is the government going to perform its duties with a parliament that is fully on the side of the government? Of course, from my understanding, it would be a positive thing for the government, but on matters of service delivery, and you understand how important it is to have a counter check, or a side of parliament that does more of the checking. How is that going to happen? And something else that you can also give us your view on is, if you remember the issue of demonstration as part of what we've been witnessing in most of African countries, not just African countries, but of course in the entire globe. Remember what happened in Sri Lanka. Remember the other day what was happening in this country just besides Tanzania. Remember what happened in Nigeria, what happened in Cameroon, amongst others. The consistency amongst the young people coming out to call bad governance, or to demonstrate as a way of showing dissatisfaction. And if you remember, Kin, it was mostly displayed in Kenya, and Kenyan youth started calling the neighboring youths that they should also wake up and start calling for good governance. What is your take? Can we say that the Kenyan youths partly played a role in notifying or telling their fellow youths across the globe, not just within the continent of Africa, that they need to stand up and fight for what they think is good for them, Mr. Barak?
It depends with how you want to look at it, because there are so many ways of looking at this issue. Remember, demonstration did not start in 2024. I don't know if you are familiar with the Arab Spring that started in Cameroon, and not in Cameroon, in Tunisia, spread all the way to from Tunisia, Egypt to even to Gaddafi's Libya, and even it went up to Syria. You remember Arab Spring started in 2020, 2010, 2011. And after that, I don't know if you remember Sudan here, when Omar al-Bashir was being toppled by the young people's movement in 20, I think it was 2019 or 2018 there. And a young university student was the one who was seen as the leader of that movement. And up to now, you see Sudan, what is happening in Sudan right now. So people celebrate toppling of government, but they do not see the aftermath of that. And you can see even in Madagascar, Rajolina became the president out of protest. He was a mayor, And the then president, Ravalomanana, fired him as a mayor of Antananarivo. And when he was fired, the people did not take it lightly. So the people came on the street and they pushed Ravalomanana out of office, and now they installed Jolina Andrew as the president. Now, the same way when he took power, he refused now to do what with the people that the things that the people wanted. Now, eventually, after more than 10 years, the same people came and now they dethroned him the other day, and he was lucky he ran away and went to France. So, no, basically, in the many countries, not in African but any country, governments change by election, and if not by election, by military coup, and if not by military coup, but by say, by revolution or civil coup. And in most cases, civil coup normally when the people topple the government, military comes in and they take power and hand over to the person that the people wants. Even in Zimbabwe, when Mugabe was very tired, the people said, no, 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 you cannot continue being the president. And they removed him, and military negotiated with the people and decided, let us give it to Mnangagwa. Now, the question that we should be asking ourselves, after this demonstration and toppling of government, what has been the ripple effect? Yeah, tell me one country that has recently underwent demonstration and toppling of government, and now they are now okay doing it. They are doing well, and you will realize that is the beginning of a country sinking into the bottomless pit. Yeah, and even people who are celebrating that's kind of takeover, let me say, undemocratic takeover of power. Because if a government cannot serve the people, a government that is elected, that is in office, then the people will rise and the people will topple that government. Because if you fail to perform your duty, which is more basically protection of life and property, that is the primary role of the government, protection of life and property. If the government fails to do that, then the people have the right to rise up against that government and topple that government and install a government that they believe can work for them. Now, in some countries, let me use example of Sudan. When al-Bashir was toppled in 2019, up to now, you know that everywhere you go, you say, well, let's pray for Sudan, let's pray. Why are you praying? Why are you praying for Sudan? Because when Bashir was toppled, the military came in and they started now having their own issues. And right now, the country is being led by two, not even led, two factions are fighting for the soul of the country. And these two factions are literally killing the citizens of of that country. Arab Spring brought some kind of revolution in some Arab states. But now look at Libya. Look at Libya. Compare Libya during Gaddafi's time. Yes, Gaddafi was a dictator. Compare Libya during his time and now compare Libya post Gaddafi up to now. Is that a country that you can even admire of being part of as a citizen? Yeah. And so I think demonstration has been part and parcel of bringing what we call regime change in most countries. Other countries, we have like Kenya, we had demonstration, but we did not have a regime change. Even Nigeria, we didn't have a regime change. It was just a demonstration, and just to tell the government that things are not working. Can you put your house in order? Such demonstrations are normally very well because they sometimes they bring reforms within the government. But demonstrations that result in regime change normally they don't end well for those countries. You find that those countries normally sink deeper into chaos and civil war and so many problems. And you realize that before you bring back your country to normalcy, it will be over 20, 30, 40 years. Because once the government collapses, every faction will want to grab power and take control. And that is why you find that now there will be small groups fighting against another group, this community fight against, because now there is what we call state of anarchy, where there is no central authority that is in charge of a country. And normally it is not a good thing. Back to you, Mark.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak. I can see msimamo. Juzi alikuwepo na niliona alizungumzia hii mambo ya Tanzania vizuri. Labda nimpe nafasi pia atuambie maoni yake kuhusu yale ambayo yalifanyika Tanzania. We saw the president being sworn in amidst, of course, chaos and speculation, or amidst what we call different views from the opposition, and not just opposition. We saw the international some international bodies giving a different view as well. And not just that, we saw what we call human rights coming out, of course, to give their version of what they saw in Tanzania. Na nitakuuliza msimamo, what is your take on the election that was carried out in Tanzania and the swearing in that we saw today? We saw the president of Kenya was represented by the deputy, Dr. Professor Kithure Kindiki. And some people or some Kenyans came out to say that the president had sent a congratulatory note to the president, that congratulatory note was not the view of the people of Kenya, that it was the view of the president. And what you can also give us your take on what you think about what is seen to, there's some lack of clarity that we are seeing, because there's some videos moving around of people. Some of them are dead, some of them are shot. We cannot really verify, but what is your take, msimamo?
Asante ndugu yangu. Kwanza pokea zangu kaka na wale wengine ambao kwa comment section. Lakini sasa umeniuliza maswali ndugu yangu, ila ni kwamba sijui ni mimi, sio kama unanipata vizuri, kwa sababu nilikuwa nakupata kamba una sauti ina kama kama fulani hivi, so baadhi ya maswali yamenipita, sikuyapata vizuri. Sijui sasa
Okay,
ni labda ni mimi upande wangu ama ni vipi, kwa sababu nachanganyikiwa. Nilikuwa nawapata vizuri kabla ni join, but nimejoin ndo nasikia kamba kuna hiyo sauti haijakuwa sawa. Lakini hao maswali mengine nimeyapata, mengine yamenipita.
Okay, ndarudia. Barak, maybe you can confirm if I'm clear. It could be on my side. Barak, am I clear on my side?
Yes, you are clear.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barak. Msimamo nauliza, you saw the president of Tanzania was today sworn in, and of course,
Yeah.
amidst the chaos that we are still witnessing in Tanzania, we saw the international bodies, the human rights activists coming out to say that, there's a huge number of people. Some of them were killed, some of them were, gunned, and, world leaders are also condemning what was happening. And remember, the president was sworn in, and of course, she has taken charge. And the question I'm asking you, what is your view on the entirety of what really happened in Tanzania?
Okay, asante. Hapo nimekupata kaka yangu. Kwanza mimi sijafurahikia wala sitapongeza ushindi ule, kwa sababu haina maana nipongeze ushindi kwa ajili ya kiongozi, ile hali mimi kama mwananchi ndio nimelengwa. So ni kwa sababu yamefanyika yale kutokana na katiba yao inawaruhusu kwamba mwenyekiti wa uchaguzi akitangaza, basi hakuna mabadiliko mengine, hakuna kwenda kotini kulilia haki, hakuna lolote isipokuwa tu ni kukubaliana na matokeo yalivyo. So kwa katiba mbovu ile na ya kukandamiza wananchi, kwa kweli sawa, amefanya kile, lakini kikubwa tujiulize kama yale masuala kwa anazungumza yeye mwenyewe kwamba anaamini mazungumzo. Sasa unaamini mazungumzo badala kutokea machafuko kama yale ya mauaji ya kutisha, then ndio unakubaliana kwamba njia halisi na njia sahihi ni ya mazungumzo. Mbona hayakufanyika mapema ili kuzuia yale ambayo yametokea? So sometimes huko kudanganya wananchi peupe, na ile hali umeshawaumiza, alafu unatafuta some excuses ambao hutokana na kitu ambacho kwa kweli umekipanga na kukifanikia, then unarudi tena kwa media ama unarudi tena kwa mwananchi, unajiweka wewe siwe, si wewe mwenye kuhusika. Hii ndio jambo linanikera mimi, kwa haswa viongozi wa Afrika wenye sampuli kama hii ya kuamini power ndio kila kitu. So kwa kweli mimi kama mimi kivyangu nitalaumu katiba nzima ya kule, ambayo sasa kwa kweli wana haja wa Tanzania wakisema wana haja na katiba mpya ambayo itaupa uhuru wa viongozi, uhuru pia wananchi kuweza kwenda kuuliza haki yao, unaona, ila tuseme mara baada ya uchaguzi kama tulivyo sasa hivi Kenya, kwamba at least tunaweza enda kotini tuka complain kuweza kupingana na matangazo yale, ama pia kuweza kustopisha haswa kuapishwa kwa kiongozi, unaona. Lakini sasa kikatiba, kisheria, na kwa sababu nguvu liko nazo, jeshi liko nalo, basi shida yake kubwa ilikuwa na tangazo kwa rais, tena arudi sasa kwa wananchi kujitoa kwamba yeye sie yuko pamoja na wananchi na anapinga vikali machafuko, wakati ili hali machafuko haya walioua hasa wao vijana ni polisi, ni vyombo vya usalama ambavyo vilikuwa chini ya yeye na wengine. So kwa kweli hii hali hii ya kutuchezea, kutufanya wananchi kama ukuta inatamausha, tumeshuhudia hata hapa kwetu. Yasiyofaa yanafanyika, lakini mwisho wa siku mtu anaye anatafuta excuse kwa mtu mwingine kwamba ni fulani, huoni fulani, kama ambao tumeshuhudia hapo kwamba labda wanalaumu upande wa upinzani eti kuna vijana walitoka nchi jirani kuja kuuawa. Huu ni uongo wa peupa. Hakuna kijana ambaye ama ametoka nchi jirani kwenda kupigania kula ama ajifie haswa kwa nchi ya wengine. Ni vijana wao wenyewe wameua kwa mkono wao. Sasa wazungumzi haswa hayo mauaji, lakini hii sio kwamba ndo umeapishwa ndo unataka meza ya mazungumzo, unaamini kwamba dialogue ndo kila kitu, ulitengeneza taifa. Kwangu mimi sijapendezwa na kwa kweli kwa mauaji yale. Mimi ningekuwa na uwezo haswa kama msimamo, basi ningesema hii ni ICC direct, ili kwenda kujibizana na kule na haya mauaji ambayo ni ya kikatili kweli kweli. So sijapendezwa, lakini kikubwa zaidi ambacho nitasema ni ubovu wa katiba yao ndio ambao imeweza kuwakaanga wa Tanzania. Asante.
Asante sana. Asante sana Msimamo. Good year, leo nimepatikana. Mr. Barak, leo nimepatikana, lakini you will forgive me. Msimamo, unikubalie nikuulize maswali kwa Kiingereza. Kiswahili yangu kichache kidogo, lakini nitapambana.
Hamna shida.
Yes, asante sana. Maybe something else that you can give us your take on is, we saw a serious boycott where majority of the opposition leaders never presented themselves for the election, and we saw majority of youth or the supporters of the opposition did not actually vote, and that gave a good opportunity for those leaders who stood by this party CCM. And out of 272 constituencies, we saw that CCM won 270, and only 2 people from this other political party were elected. The question I'm asking you tonight is, how are the views of the minority going to be represented in the parliament? And if you understand how democracy works, and how partly the governments work, what is your take on the kind of parliament that is going to operate in Tanzania? And again, something else you can give us your take on is, if we saw quite a number of people going for the demonstration, even on the exact day that people were going for the election, how are they going? How are they going to? Do you think they're going to slow down in matters of demonstration, or they are going to continue that demonstration? And again, you can give us your take on what you think on how the president would handle the demonstrations going forward.
Okay, asante. Mimi kwa maoni yangu kama mimi tu Kwanza nasema uchaguzi ulikuwa kushangaza mno. Kutoka naanze kufuatilia masuala na uchaguzi, sijapata kusikia kuna rais amechaguliwa 98%. Never. Then hesabu zinanikanganya kwamba yeye aliweza kushinda 31.9 million votes out of 32 million votes. Then tukirudi katika zoezi zima kule ambako kulikuwa kumelengwa zaidi na hawa vijana, kwamba kwa sababu walikuwa wamesimama katika mfumo wao kwamba if no reforms no election, no reforms no election. So wali target the same day kwamba uchaguzi umeanza, na wakaanza kuharibu sehemu nyingi tu za kupigia kura. So tukirudi katika hesabu tumepewa na tume ya uchaguzi wa Tanzania, inakuwa na kichefuchefu, kwa sababu kungekuwa kumetulia, hakuna ghasia, tungesema sawa, kwa sababu ya hawa ambao waliweza kukataa Chadema kukataa uchaguzi, kwamba hawataingia uchaguzi kwa sawa. Lakini sasa nashangaa haya majibu haya ambayo waliweza kumpa ushindi huu wa kishindo yalitoka wapi? Na machafuko haya yalidumu tangia the day one walivyoanza uchaguzi wao, hayakutulia, yalikuendelea mfululizo. So where did she get, or where did she afford to have all these numbers from, kama si mabao ya kufunga na mkono haya, na kama rifa hajaona likahesabika ni bao kama hili lake ambalo kafunga na mkono, rifa hajaona na rifa amehesabu ni bao, kwa sababu hakukuwa na VAR. VAR hapo, VAR ni upinzani na upinzani haupo. So kusema kwamba hii ni demokrasia, ni nchi ambayo inakuwa kidemokrasia, kwanza ni usaliti. Na ndio maana unakuta marafiki wengi waliokuja pale kuweza kumganga na kuweza kumpongeza ni wale wale tu nyani wanaojuana kwa vilemba, nani Waarabu wa Pemba wanaojuana kwa vilemba, ama wale wa Korino nao wa kule Central wanaojuana kwa vilemba. Lakini hata si kwamba kuna uungaji mkono ule ambao washangwe kutoka matafari zaidi ya hawa marafiki zake, ambao pia wengine hawajakwenda, wametuma ujumbe tu, maana wangekinyaga kule pia pengine huenda wangeamsha balaa zaidi. Sasa kwa haya wametuma ujumbe, Museveni katuma mdogo wake, Ruto katuma mdogo wake, na kesi ni nchi jirani, ni hapa karibu tu. Ungekuwa na heri na amani na haki, basi wangeenda kule kuweza kumpongeza mwenzi wako kuweza kushinda kihilali. So kwa kweli, kimtazamo wangu, kwa kweli Tanzania yana siwezi nikasema waendeleze, na siwezi nikasema waache kugombania kile wanachokitafuta. Kwa nini nasema nisije nikasema wasiendeleze? Kwa sababu ya kuhofia mauaji yakazidi zaidi ya pale ambapo tumeyaona. Lakini vile vile tukisema wanyamaze kwa sababu ya kuogopa mauaji, already tayari wao washakwenda, basi wamalizie hii ungwe, waendeleze haya maandamano bila kuchoka, bila kujali, kwa sababu siku zote amani haiji ile nchi ya upanga, mpaka pale matarajio yao na mapendekezo yao yatakapokubalika kwamba uchaguzi usitishwe ama uregeshwe tena, kama itaruhusu kikatiba, ama kama kutafuatwa hizo reforms ama amendments za hiyo katiba, at least uregeshwe, ufutulwe mbali, ili hawa vyama vingine wapewe nafasi. La sivyo kutakuwa hakuna upinzani. CCM ndio upinzani na upinzani ndio CCM, na ushindi huu ni wa CCM. Tena waajabu, kwa sababu hata hao wana CCM sidhani kama alipiga kura hizi zote ambazo zimeweza kutangazwa zenye ushindi wa almost 98%. Sijawahi kuona. So that's my take kwamba wenye hatima ya hii taifa ni wananchi dhidi ya viongozi wao ambao wanawakandamiza. So wakiamua kuacha kwa kuhofia damu zinazomwagika na zinazopotea, wala ndugu, kama watarudi katika meza ya mazungumzo wazungumze sawa, lakini kikubwa wangeendeleza haswa na zaidi na pressure zaidi, bila kukoma, bila kuchoka, mpaka pale ambapo taifa litaweza, viongozi wataweza, na mama taifa itaweza kuona kwamba kwa kweli Watanzania wana kitu wanachokilia. Wameamua kama kufa, lakini haki ipatikane. Lakini kama watajaribu kusema wacha tutulize kwanza, tuingie katika mazungumzo, wanadamu ni nyingi, hawa ndio ilikuwa plani yao, na ndio plani ya watu kama hawa, viongozi kama hawa, kwamba wanaleta hayo yote mavurugu. Mkishamwaga damu, mkishamaliza, mkianza kuingia uoga, lazima mtarudi kwa meza. Sasa unarudi kwa meza na mtu ambaye tayari kisheria ameshaidhinishwa, yeye ndio kila kitu. Sasa wewe unaenda kwa mtu ambaye tayari yeye ashafaulu, itakuwa ngumu kuweza kumpiku. Labda mazungumzo angefanyika kabla ya kuapishwa, hapo watu wakae kwenye meza mazungumzo. Kama ni kugawana haswa nyadhifa, basi wagawane. Kama ni kwenda kwa fresh election, wangefanya hivyo. Mimi kimtazamo wangu nadhani nitakwambia hapa. Asante.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Simamo, and I'll get to the next question that wanted us to also have a look at this evening. And allow me to acknowledge and to say a big thank you to everyone who is watching us. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us this evening. We really appreciate, and we hope that we kindly request you to like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us. Na sisi tutashukuru. Thank you. Yeah, so maybe something else that you can give us your take, Mr. Barak, is the ODM party. The ODM party has been coming out of late. Again, the top leadership having what we call different views, different stance, and this is really confusing their supporters. Mr. Barak, what is your take on the different language or the different political stance that we are seeing amongst the top leaders of ODM, which is in coming out as a confusing way, and the supporters are also left wondering of what is next. We saw the acting party leader saying they might come up with a presidential candidate. Same sentiments were echoed by the Sifuna, the Secretary General. We are also seeing conflict again in ODM. We saw the deputy party leader Sotsi in Vihiga saying that leaders like Jalango walishatolewa kwa party and they're not supposed to speak, and such kind of words. Amidst what we are seeing, there has always been call for unity amongst the members of ODM. What is your take on what is happening in ODM? You'll give us your take on that, and then something else that you can give us your take on is we're seeing consistency of leaders going, not just leaders, but Kenyans of different walks, not just Kenyans, Africans, and people coming from different countries going to the burial place or the burial site of Raila Amolo Odinga as a way of showing the last respect. And this is one thing that, even those people who are seen as political enemies are today going to visit. And what does this teach us? Yesterday, you saw the Chief Justice led a group of judges. Today, we saw Martha Karua, Honorable Ngilu, among other leaders also going. And Kalonzo Musyoka has also pronounced himself that he would be going to Bondo together with the opposition leaders. You can give us your take on how the death of Raila Amolo Odinga has proven to the people of Kenya that as even though people come from different political views, political areas, but we've seen is death uniting and bringing people together, people ferrying, consistently going to his rural home to pay the last respect, something that we've never seen in the Republic of Kenya. And what is your view on that, Mr. Barak?
It's a good thing that people are going to pay homage to the fallen hero, and I think it just shows the caliber of the kind of person that Raila was. And I think but I'm not really keen on politicians, because politicians they don't behave genuinely. They take advantage of situations, and you'll find them doing things just for PR purposes. You find that they are going there, but if you even in their heart they know that they don't believe in what they are doing. So maybe I'll just focus on other people, but not politicians. Politicians in this country, they are very interesting human beings. But we are going to see that. I hear that even the so-called United Opposition are going there on Thursday. And I think it will reach a point where now they will just need to allow leader now to rest, because I think ever since she laid her husband to rest, she has been receiving delegations upon delegations upon delegations every day. And I think after some time they shall need to give her some time to at least to rest and start now mourning her husband in her own way, because I don't think she has really even started mourning. Because you cannot be mourning and you are receiving guests every day. So professionals will continue going there, and politicians will also continue going there. And I think even others have, like they just relocated to that place. They were just eating those cows and taking some ujis and sleeping, waking up, going to the grave, eating and taking uji and sleeping. So I think they should just give that family some time now to start now coming to terms with the reality of losing the Raila was not just Raila was an institution. He was a movement, and I think up to now even we have people who have not even believed that he's dead. So coming to terms with the reality will take some time. And I hear that there are some people who are proposing to the government to gazette Raila's grave as a tourist attraction, and they start now collecting some taxes. Because he was a very significant consequential Kenyan whom we lost. So that is going to take place. I think that's going to continue for some time. Politicians are still, let me ask you: when someone dies and you take so much time to go and pay your last respect, what does that mean? So politicians will do anything. So in terms of, I think the issue of ODM is very complicated. I think I'm exhausted with the ODM. And we were saying here immediately after Raila, that, Raila is no more now. And Raila was the figure that was being feared within ODM, was respected, feared by ODM members. And now his absence is now exposing the underbelly of ODM, which is very weak. When you hear deputy party leaders saying that these people are already kicked out of the party, yeah. So what are you trying to say? We have a party leader who is trying to now acting party leader who is trying to bring people together. We have deputy party leaders who are trying to push people away, and we have a secretary general and the chairperson who are not seeing each other eye to eye. One is preaching a different gospel, another one is preaching. So I think ODM time will just tell. Time will just tell with this ODM. So, and I think after this by-election that is coming, depending with the seat, because the sixth seat that is very significant to them is the one in Magarini. That is where now we have a neutral ground. So if they can manage to win that seat, it's going to be something. Because I think they cannot afford to lose Kasipul, they cannot afford to lose Ugunja, they cannot afford to lose Magarini. Those three seats are very, very significant to them at this juncture. And so I think if someone goes to help them to campaign, they start bad mouthing that person. I think that is political immaturity. In politics, you have to be strategic. Every vote counts. And in terms of talking about having their own presidential candidate in 2027, that is normal. That is strategy even for negotiation. You cannot just go to the table already conceding that I cannot produce a candidate. So if you want to go into a coalition negotiation, you go there as an equal partner. You don't go there as someone who has already conceded. And now, you'll be at the mercies of the other partner. So they are trying to up their game in terms of when time comes for bargaining. Because even if you do not build your capacity, then you do not have power to bargain. And the reason why Raila was always attractive to the sitting president, because he had the capacity. Once you have a strong political parties with many members of parliament, then you become very attractive to the president who is in power, because they know for them to have their way in the legislature, they need you to be on their side. So they are just okay. I think it is one way of also ensuring that you become strong, and the people who are already saying that they are certified orphans, those are the people who do not understand politics. If you want to build to go into a coalition, you go into a coalition with demands, because coalition building is about giving and take. You give and take. You give and take. You don't just go to give everything in a coalition. So what are you giving? What are you receiving? And your supporters must also see that you have the capacity also to negotiate on their behalf. Because if you are going on the table and you are very weak, then it means that you are going to be overrun by the other side. And remember also, DCP also trying to build their capacity. So ODM also trying to be very keen so that they don't lose so much in terms of members of parliament in the coming election. And you start losing when you start conceding everything now. But when you remain tough, and you remain talking tough, you continue talking tough now, it means that you are building your capacity. By the time 2027 is here, you will be approached with the other partners who believe that you are an equal partner. But hii mambo ya kusema sijui tuko orphans, sijui we don't have conditions, that is bullshit. In politics, everything must have a price. And if you don't have a price, then afadhali wachane na hii siasa, wewe kaa nyumbani. And I think I'll leave it at there. And let me just you'll remind the guy who just left Msimamo. Amesema jawai sikia president ameshinda na 97%. Tell him to check. Paul Kagame alishinda na percentage gapi? 99.15% in the last election 2024. Just check. So this issue of presidents winning with a higher percentage, it is just a mockery of democracy, because they just saw that they were running against themselves. So Samia 97, at least hajafika hata ile record nani aliweka Kagame 99.15%. Back to you, Bwana Mark.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak, for finding time to be with us. Allow me to welcome Mr. Brother Benson. And Brother Benson, unaweza tuambia uko vipi, umeshindaje? Na usalimie Mr. Barak pia kwa hapa.
Mi niko vyema, na nasalimia ndugu Barak, na pia nimeona pale Gudia pia amenisalimia. Mimi niko vizuri, nasikia tu mahojiano yenu mkizungumzia mambo mzuri. Barak, habari gani? Wacha nisikie sauti yako.
Salama sana Ben, niko salama, nimefurahi kukuona. Na wacha nijibu hii comment ya Gudia kwanza. I thought they said it was culture after party. After party ndio, but kuna watu wengine nao wamegeuza hapo kwa sasa kwa nyumbani. Wewe unajua kwanza Sakaja alikaa kule siku ngapi? Jamaa alihamisha ofisi kutoka Nairobi akapeleka kule Bondo. Kazi ni kuchoma ng'ombe ile imeletwa na kukujwa uji ile ulipelekwa na Uhuru. So please, rudini nyumbani mfanye kazi.
Na labda wewe Bara, kwanza tu nikuulize, najua mimi haikukuwa show yangu, lakini ilikuwa ya Makubura. Kuna tetesi kuwa gavana wa Homa Bay anataka kutengeneza hafla ya, tunasema kwamba memorial ya baba, kwamba anasisitiza kwamba watu wa Homa Bay na Migori hawakupata nafasi vizuri ya kumuombeleza. Wewe kwako vipi?
Gladys awache mambo vituko. Unajua Gladys pia she want to become too much. We all understand the loss, the vacuum that Raila left. And I think she want to overdo this thing, and it might have some it might be counterproductive to her. Because I think we all of us are felt the loss of Raila Odinga, all counties, leave alone Homa Bay and Migori. And I think she should focus on now serving the people, because nobody's going now to be elected on the mere fact that you've been supporting Raila. So anataka could dramatize this funeral so that she can gain politically. Remember when there was some controversy about Mutahi Kahiga. And she came out and she said that Mutahi Kahiga should not step foot in the ball. Sometimes that's why nasemanga, we might be crying of young leadership, but when we give young leaders, how are they leading? Yeah, because sometimes even they say that when you are crying more than the bereaved, we know that Raila had children, and these children are Winnie, Rosemary, and Raila Jr. Yeah, you cannot tell me that you've lost a father more than these three children of Raila Odinga. Raila had a wife who is Ida Odinga. You cannot tell me that there is a woman who has lost a husband more than Ida Odinga. Yeah, so let us stop drama and just focus. Let us stay focused. I don't support this kind of things that this lady, Gladys, is doing. She should not dramatize this. The loss is huge. We all understand, but now overdoing it, yeah. I think everybody alipata nafasi ya kuomboleza baba. Everybody was there. Na wala wakupata nafasi when Bondo is open, Kangu Kajaramogi, the gate has never been closed since Raila was laid to rest. Kama hajastosheka, alongoze delegation waende pale, they let her people pay last respect. But now starting to spend county money, county funds, organizing, I don't know what things that do not add value to the people that are living. I am not with that.
Do you think, especially we're just looking at ODM, do you think they're still in the state of confusion in a way, whereby there are those who are trying very hard, even to add on what Gibson Goodyear say, that to inherit the fan base of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, and by in wanting to inherit, you have to do so many things or functions like the one that maybe if it is true that just kumwenzi ndio watu waone kwamba labda ulikuwa umempenda sana.
Hiyo ni unaitoka bado, yani you are a sycophant even to death. We knew Raila had sycophant, people who could not even think with their brain when they are supporting Raila Odinga. We know that. But should you continue with the same, hata kama ameshaaga dunia jamani, so that people will see you? So what are you trying to portray? Yeah. And the good thing is that people are much cleverer right now. And when you are doing something that they know it is not even for their interest, yeah, and you are doing something just to portray your psychophancy, I don't think she will gain support. In fact, even those who thought that she's a good leader, she might even lose those ones. For example, at some point, I thought that maybe she can hold this position and try to show some leadership. But now, nimeanza kushangaa. Wacha nianze kusema vile Gypsy Kona ameambia Mark amtoa Max kwa sababu yeye si mwanafunzi mzuri wa Kiswahili. Hata pia mimi nimeanza kutoa Gladys Max na shindwa huyu madam. I thought she is a leader of some who can really show some leadership. But sometimes when you overdo some things, even those people who were believing in you, they will start now withdrawing their support. So Gladys must be very careful. Even in her desperate attempt to win Raila's fan base. In that desperate attempt, you can do some things that will even annoy people more. And instead of you gaining, you end up even losing that small support that you had before.
And do sorry, Marco Bura, do you think like even there are people who are very close to the Right Honorable Prime Minister who did not understand his struggle, even going back to how did he make his name to be where he was, and even how ODM came to be like a party that people love? Because like when you go back to the history, you look at when Raila Amolo Odinga disagreed or was not in agreement with what was happening in Ford Kenya, he decided to walk out of Ford Kenya and say that, okay, I'm resigning as a member of Ford Kenya and I'm going to seek the mandate of the people with LDP. Then from LDP, he entered in coalition with President Moi. Then from there, the LDP was swallowed by KANU. Then he came with that. The Chungwa came, the issue of Kalonzo, on how Kalonzo went with the party, and again he had to start to work again, and all those to where now ODM as a party came, and now again this kind of like fanatical base, due to the influence of Raila Amolo Odinga. And this is something that you want to take, you want to take it within 6 months, or not even less than. It's not even like a month yet, ever since the Right Honorable Prime Minister was buried. But you see that there's this fighting that people want to get the share of something that will build over 20 years. You want to take it in a day. Do they understand that, or are the political, those who are so much interested in this Raila Molo base, to inherit it, do they understand the struggle that he went through to build the party, or to build himself to where he was before, even at his death?
Within ODM, I don't think there is anyone who understands Raila's journey.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why you see them very desperate, hoping that they can take over and fill Raila's shoes. Raila's shoes, ODM alone, Raila built ODM in 20 years in his life, because he died when ODM was supposed to be celebrating 20 years.
Yeah.
And remember, even before ODM, Raila had built himself. And there's this, after Fort Kenya, he established NDP, not LDP. LDP was now after getting out of Kano.
Yeah, NDPS.
NDP, then NDP, he went into partnership with Moi, from partnership to merger. Then from merger, now they became one party, and he became the SG of Kano. I don't know if those guys understand how Kano was very powerful those days. And Raila was an SG for a few months before he led a walkout of Kano. And the reason why Raila was, I think, the springboard of Raila's political journey was when he led a walkout out of Kano, because Moi was unchallenged for many years, 24 years in office. Nobody dared question Moi. And even the leaders who were the ministers that were serving in Moi's cabinet, the likes of William Ole Ntimama, the likes of Professor George Saitoti, the likes of Mudi Awori, the likes of Musalia, they never, even Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, they never dared ask Moi a question. But Raila's boldness, when Moi said that now I have this young man here as my preferred candidate, that is the name of Uhuru Kenyatta. And remember how he brought in Uhuru Kenyatta as a nominated member of Parliament 201, and later on he elevated him to become a cabinet secretary, a minister of local government. So when Raila said no, then this guy started now gaining gaining some boldness. So you can also tell this Muzeni hapana, and he will not do anything. So when Moi insisted and Raila said that kama hatutaenda kwa nomination, then Kasarani itageuka kwa Kisirani. And even that Kasarani delegates conference did not take place, because he led a walkout out of Kano, and he walked out with Kano bigwigs. Vice president for over 13 years, that was Professor George Saitoti, followed Raila Odinga. William Ole Ntimama was the Masai kingpin. Kama unachaguliwa Masaini bila Ole Ntimama hunge manage. That was Ole Ntimama for you. With Kalonzo Musyoka, Mudi Awori. So it is only Musalia who retracted his steps and went back. But all these big wings walked out. And that is where now Raila started shining bright. And when they went and they formed LDP, and the other side, Kibaki had already organized himself and appointed himself as the candidate, and Wamalo was the running mate, and Gilu was the shadow cabinet prime minister. So when these guys came, they did not have what we call power-hungry characters. That is why when Raila said Kibaki tosha, and all these people that he led from Kanu, they joined forces with Kibaki, and they formed National Alliance Rainbow Coalition that propelled them to power and ended Kanu's reign. And credit went to Raila Odinga, because he was like the captain of that movement.
Okay.
And when they joined government and Moi and Kibaki started now, I'm twisting him. There's that sympathy that he automatically, because people saw how he fought for Kibaki. And when Kibaki became the president, now they started now going against their memorandum of understanding. They started going against their agreements. There's a way that people who are not who would not support Kibaki, people who love justice. There's a way that he just inherited that, and that is what led to the failing of referendum in 2005. And now after 2005, now Raila became a heavyweight in Kenyan politics. And when he said that now he was going to become the presidential candidate, he was going to make a to attempt become the president 2007, everybody else minus Central Kenya, people say now it is your time, it's your time. That's why it was very, very difficult to rig that election and let it go scot-free. So you can look at those steps, how this guy followed, like you can even say a script, and he emerged as the darling of the people. And now when he now decided to build one, because before ODM he had migrated to so many political parties. So when he came up with ODM and he decided now to build that political party, he attracted people from across the country. Yeah. So if you look at these personalities within ODM, no, I think even if you try to pinpoint even one individual, what do they stand for? What had they fought about? Yeah, because you can pinpoint and say Raila fought for this, Raila fought for this, Raila fought for this, and even whatever we have right now, you can, with whatever freedom that people are enjoying in this country, you can attach the name of Raila to some of the freedoms. Now, in ODM, from SG to the chairperson to the deputy party leaders to these members of party, tell me one person who has fought for anything apart from maybe fighting for Raila. There's nothing.
There's you know what what kind of even make it more interesting with the particular members of that political party. Remember when the president came into power, that is the Kenya Kwanza administration, there are quite a number of them who in ODM who went to work with the president. And before Raila had that agreement with the president on how they at some point even mocked the party, But like I was yesterday or the day before yesterday, I was seeing one of the members saying that you should not get scared of these young leaders in ODM. You find that the politics of what we have, especially with the political parties, there's a big problem with the political parties, the same with the people who are vying with these political parties, because one, their first priority is they identify themselves with this political party to get office without understanding what this political party stands for. By the way, they don't have anything that they stand for, so they are okay. Two, sometimes it is some of, like the certificates that they get for this political party, they are transactional. Maybe sometimes somebody has negotiated your certificate, and that's why sometimes you just talk, or you can just say anything you feel like, That is one. Then right now you're also seeing a situation whereby the Right Honorable Prime Minister glued the ODM. Some of the reckless maybe statements that they are making, even somebody saying that we are orphan. These are some of the things that they could not say when the Right Honorable Prime Minister was around. So that one also. Another thing that also I'm seeing together with the government, the other day I saw the Prime Cabinet Secretary is talking about what Raila said. We know, everybody knows that there was an agreement that that Raila entered the 10-point agenda with the President William Ruto. So beyond that, what is it that the government or you as a minister you are offering, or what are you going to tell us, which is very new apart from what we know? why do you think that in the statement that they are making, the name of Raila Amolo Odinga will be mentioned like 100 times?
For their survival. Because I remember you were saying the guy made that statement yesterday, Elisha Odhiambo, a gay member of parliament, that the vijana wadogo wakuja polepole. You know, Elisha became a member of parliament in 2017, the same time Babu Owino became a member of parliament of Embakasi East. So all of them are serving their second term. So I don't know when he's bragging that he has been in politics for some time, who he's referring to who. Maybe Sifuna is the one who's serving his first term, but Babu Owino, they joined parliament the same time with Babu, 2017. So I think this psychophancy, and I pray that all these people will just lose their seats, so that we can have people who are, you don't have to be a sycophant by supporting a leader. You can support a leader but you still retain your ability to think critically and make sound decisions. And when someone that has been praised as have gone to the best schools in, I don't know, in Europe, in North America, someone like Jared Okello says that we are now as certified orphans, and as certified orphan, we could not have conditions. I wonder, the school fees that was paid for these guys was just a waste. I think that money could have been used to build maybe some classrooms for the people of Nyando. Maybe we could have had a generation of people who can think properly. So this psychophancy these guys are playing, that is how they used to survive during Raila's time. But now Raila's demise has really exposed these guys because they don't have anything else. Yeah, they don't have anything else to say. That's why even in death, they still ran away with his name and attach their statements to Raila Odinga. And it's unfortunate because they will not survive this in 2027. They will not. Yeah. If they want to support, every leader, every individual, not even every Kenyan, has the right to support anybody that they chose to. It is their democratic right.
Right.
But you can do that without being a psychopath. That is what people do not understand. Yeah. You don't have to follow every meeting Ruto is going to and reminding him that now you want to become a director for 2 terms. So, and I pray, it is my humble prayer, by the way, that these guys are going to lose their seats in 2027, so that the people where they come from can have members of parliament who can really serve them, who can represent them, who can legislate with them in their mind, who can oversee the government and remind the government that development should be taken across the country, irrespective of how you are voted in. So I personally believe that these guys, they did not have anything tangible to attach to their names when they were coming into parliament. They've been surviving by invoking Raila's name. And right now, Raila is no more. They are still invoking his name so that they can remain relevant. And following up Ruto here and there, hoping that they will get, benefit of, I don't know which kind of benefit. But they are forgetting that the person who they used to hang they used to hang on his court is no more. So they need to go back to their constituencies and start talking to their constituents and start aligning the priorities of the people they represent, so that come 2027, at least they will have something to talk about from their constituents. But hii mambo ya kushinda wakikimbia huku na huku and worshiping individuals, I can assure you they will be former members of parliament come 2027.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Barak. Let me bring in Marco Bura, because there's something also that as you are having a conversation, I get to know. And the other day I talked about it, especially when you look at the life of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga in terms of politics, where people really insulted him and called him names. But in the history of the books, I've never seen or I've never read anywhere that Raila took somebody to court for calling him names. And even those who kind of like talk negatively about him, at some point you will find he will have lunch with them and it's okay for him. So it was for him, it was politics. He never took it so seriously. But you find that when Mutai Kaiga made that comment, you talked about it on how even Rigathi Gachagua was banned from visiting Bondo, and this was when the leaders of ODM were giving press, and you look back when it was being laid to rest, when people were paying last respect to him, they said that we will follow in the footsteps of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And if you look at what they did by banning Rigathi Gachagua not to go to Bondo because they have political differences, that was not his footsteps, especially into politics. So how will they actualize, or how will they make even bring people together, because they're talking about unity, Bakobura?
Okay, thank you so much. I was actually going through the comments, and Gypsy Corner here, I mean, Goodyear here is saying that there's a comment I saw that the late People's President Honorable Raila Odinga reminded me of the People's Princess Diana. There's one that they don't support leaders but worship leaders. I think this is a statement that we really have to. I mean, the behavior that we are seeing in the rural area, and let me say in the Luo Nyanza, everybody wants to hone Raila Amolo Odinga, and it's so unfortunate that even when he's no longer here, they still want to hone him, and even the things, I mean, even the matters that they are bringing forth, some of them are really not in good order. They want to behave like, what really surprises me is that they're human beings. They have their own brains, and they understand that, well, Raila was loved. Raila's played his part. But there are some things that are currently unnecessary. There are some things you cannot do, some things at this particular time that can bring back Raila Amolo Odinga, because they are behaving as if they want to bring back Raila Amolo Odinga. They are not really behaving in a manner that they are in one way or another acknowledging and saying thank you for the life that Raila lived. They are doing it too much, and just like Brother Barakia was saying, it is not necessary the way they are doing it. They are actually getting out of order. And this behavior of trying to own Raila as if they were the firstborn who maybe Raila spent time with, as if, it doesn't make sense at this particular time. Let us respect Raila Amolo Odinga, and let us respect as well the fact that he had his family, and his family has a bigger responsibility in honoring him more than what we are seeing. Today, I was even seeing what was happening in Magarini. I saw quite some flyers or some banners having images of the governor, of the same governor, amongst others. And the question we are asking is, to what extent did ODM then, remain? I don't know. I'm seeing a lot. ODM is surprising me with the behavior that they are currently displaying. One that is not, to me, it is not respectful in any way. It is one that is simply exposing the negativity that and the confusion that we are seeing in the ODM.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not good for the party. It is not solving the problems that the party are going through. There are so many matters that ODM currently should be dealing with. There are so many matters that they are facing as a party. There are so many differences. There are so many voices and all those voices, if truly they want to honor Baba, then let them unite. Let them use the right tone in welcoming people to ODM, not excluding people and calling. I mean, and even just with the behaviors alone can make people not feel comfortable continuing being in Baba's party. So that again is very powerful that they have to look into it. Let them not own it. Ni kama, you know, ni yao na ni yao na ni yao. This thing is for all of us. We are Kenyans. It is for people coming from Central, Northeastern, and all those people. The same feeling that some of them think that they are feeling that somebody maybe in Central or Northeastern is not feeling. Baba had fanatical supporters across the country, and that has to be respected. And when they want to start behaving like ni wao sasa ndio, it doesn't make sense. That is my take. That is what I can say.
Okay, and maybe Barack, sometimes is quite much surprising because when the Right Honorable Prime Minister um, had a conversation with President William Ruto, one of the things that we were told is that they wanted to stabilize the government. And from that moment, we all knew, or we all knew that now the government was surviving, or the administration of President William Ruto was surviving under the wings of Raila Amolo Odinga. But now, if you look at what is happening, especially with the infights or divisions of views, especially for those who believe that President William Ruto should be the flag bearer. That is one. ODM now, he needs to be the flag bearer, or we are left in ODM is left in the government. So you ask yourself, is that wing that we know it was surviving under, now they're surviving under the wings of the UDA or the wings of President William Ruto? Is that one could be the same? Could that one be so? Barack is lost.
Yes, I think ODM stabilized Ruto's government. That's a fact, especially when Ruto's government was facing a lot of challenges. ODM came and to their rescue. Now, we used to say that ODM ni Baba na Baba ni ODM. So, unfortunately, nobody saw this coming, and now Baba is no more. Now, even Ruto himself, I can assure you, Ruto is not even sure what is going to happen because he had banked so much on Baba. Because, Baba's personality alone commanded respect and loyalty in ODM. And whatever he said to the ODM members, they listened and they followed. Even if there was some disquiet, nobody could come out and tell him that Baba hapa na hapana. Once he said that this is the direction, that's why you see those guys would say, akisema left ni left. But now, Ruto is now left with ADM experts in government. But now he also wants his government to remain stable up to 2027 or even beyond 2027. So he's also thinking as a politician.
Yeah.
And I think these guys in ODM who are pro broadcast government, they know that Ruto might even be out there shopping for a new partner because he's so much concerned with stabilizing his government so that he does not face some kind of instability that he faced in 2024. So they are trying so much to pledge loyalty to him each and every minute so that they are reminding him that Baba alituacha kwa mkono yako bwana. So whatever you are thinking or whatever you want to do, just have that in the back of your mind. That sisi tuliwacha kwa the other guy say that tuliacha kwa anko. Na ukiachwa kwa anko, anko na take care of orphans. So they know that anything can happen anytime. because Ruto is concerned with stabilizing his government. Yeah.
And let's say, do they realize that in politics, something that even Kalonzo can be more right now, more appealing to President William Ruto than them as we speak today?
Absolutely. Anybody who understands politics knows that. And because even what is happening in this different this different opinion from leaders of ODM, they are not inspiring confidence from the president. So the president can go out there so aggressively to get an individual that will try to balance power, because there's what we call balance of power.
Yeah.
You balance power by bringing another powerful individual, then so that you can balance these other people. So right now, I can assure you that Ruto is so much concerned of getting an individual on his side who can, because Baba has left a vacuum that nobody can fill. Nobody can fill. So he does not want to take chances also as a politician, because in politics, you don't take chances. So that's why you'll see people like Wanga coming out saying their own things. Sifuna out there also saying his own things. Oburu yesterday was interviewed. He was speaking very carefully, not to offend either side. So
But
the personality of Baba is irreplaceable. Yeah, and that is what now Ruto is missing from his side. So he will go up there for sure.
Okay. Barak, there's something that you've really mentioned. There's something that yesterday everybody, like including me, I think we saw in Oburu that we're not expecting. Most of the time, Oburu has always been this person that would talk, not cautiously, political cautiousness. But yesterday in the interview, Oburu was so much composed. And the way he was giving the answers, it leaves the viewers to think. Yeah, he was not hitting them directly, to a point whereby he said, it was even more creating more confusion, because he said that Mbadi, Joho, Opio Wandai, all they are in government. They're not members of ODM, because they're speaking the language of the government. And sometimes when they come over here, also they speak, so it created more and more confusion. And even what was so surprising, especially when he was asked about the remarks that were made by Mutahi Kahiga, he did not answer it with a lot of, like hate or a lot of he said he said that he's a leader. He don't think that as a leader he could have talked that way. So like yesterday, Oburu was so much composed and articulative on the issues that he was being asked, which it was so surprising.
Yeah, and remember, even when Raila was still there, remember Oburu was the leader of broad-based government.
Yeah,
he was the one who was leading that faction. And now that he's now the party leader, the acting party leader for ODM, he has retracted his steps. And right now, he has taken the position that either these guys are in government, we are build our party, and we are going to ensure that we go to 2027 as a very strong political party called ODM. And yesterday he said that even they will consider, if this side they not deliver on 10 points agenda, they will open the door to the other side. And so now he's speaking like a party leader, because as a party you should be accommodative. You don't speak as if you want to chase others away. And even those who are seen as on their way out of ODM, like Babu, you see he has brought him back and say that Sakaja is not a member of ODM. So there's no way you can give an outsider the party's candidate, the party's ticket, and you have your own. So I think he performed very well. He exceeded expectation of so many people. And it is good that he's now not leading one side of ODM the way he used to do before. Because hata yeye alikuwa anafuatana na Ruto kila mahali akisema sisi ni broad based. But right now, I think it was a wise decision for ODM to give him that position for now,
Yeah.
because if you look at how even these deputy party leaders are talking, I don't think there is anyone who is ready to lead ODM. So let him try and see if whether he will lead ODM past this transition period, because the transition period are always a very very delicate for political parties, even for countries.
Yeah.
So if you can, if you can go through that transition period and end up the other side together, then I think that will be a plus. That will be a very very a job well done for Uhuru Oginga.
Okay, you're talking about transition because we know right now, even when you look at especially the country itself, people are still conversing, and you find that the majority of the conversations are about Raila Odinga, and it's about what will happen. Especially, it's what will happen. You find what will happen to broad-based government, what will happen to 10-point agenda, what will happen to ODM. But with the time, the reality will sink, and now the reality will unfold, and now people will start now to make decisions based on the reality, especially like majority of the time, because like conversation is about ODM, especially like now you see all the infights whereby everybody wants to remain relevant and everybody the spokesperson. You come to even the youth league, you see Marco Ure is talking about Sifuna, you know, still talking about Sifuna, Baba, he was closer to Baba than Sifuna, you see. And if he doesn't want to follow according to broad-based government, he should leave. I may not quote him correctly, but you see all this fighting, including Salah Okech, who say that they spoke with Baba. Baba told them that we have to stay in government. You know, when
Yeah.
all this, the what we are seeing will sink, and now the reality will dawn and say that now we need what will happen. What are the expectations that we are expecting to happen after all this?
You know, people like Marco Ore are those are people who are children who are still in diapers. They don't understand anything about politics. And even in ODM, what does he know about ODM?
Yeah.
And I think for me, I think there are three individuals in ODM who are going to be very very instrumental in shaping the future of ODM, and that is the acting party leader right now, Kisumu Governor Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, and Siaya Governor James Orengo. These are very senior people in ODM in terms of even of age. So they are, and you know they're also learned. So
Yeah.
they are not people who are going to be carried away by emotions and make decisions based on emotions. No, even like Professor Nyong'o is someone who's retiring in 2027. He's retiring from as a Kisumu governor. So I think even in terms of who is going to continue, whether Sikuna is going to continue being SG or not, these are three people, the one who are going to decide. And I know also Mama Ida is also going to have a lot of influence, but these three individuals, they are going to be very, very influential in decisions in ODM going forward. Whether they are going to be solved to the broad-based government or not, whether they are going to retain Sifuna SG, whether they are going to retain even Rwanga as the chairperson, these three individuals are going to be very, very influential. Because of remember, even when ODM was being formed, they were there. 4-5. I think they are the only people who are there when ODM was being formed, and they are still surviving in politics. And they are still very, very influential. And that's why you see, even when Raila was going to AU, he decided that Professor Nyong'o will be the acting party leader in his absence. So he knows that these guys, they are very, very influential in this party. So going forward, I know someone was lying to Kasmo that he can be given the SG. That's why you see him talking very much, hoping that that dream will come true. But he does not understand that the SG position is not given to anybody. That's a very, very sensitive position, very senior in any political party, even in any organization. So I still believe that these three guys, they are going to usher in the new leadership of ODM, and they are going to be very influential in this transition period.
Before inviting Makobura, I'm trying to look at your scope, and I agree with you 100%, because even the words the words they usually use, especially when they were giving their last tribute to the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, their choice of words, and ever since that day until today, I've never, I don't know, I might be wrong, I've never heard Professor Nyang' Nyong'o talking about or having he has said anything about Raila. I don't know. I don't know if I might be wrong. I've not seen Nyong'o anywhere talking about issue of Raila or issue of the party. Even Orengo have never mentioned anything to do with the party. They're very quiet.
Yeah.
And that should be a signal to some of these young people.
And remember, Nyong'o was the pioneer. He was the pioneer SG of ODM. So and Orengo was the first Attorney General of ODM. You know, these people don't understand. And that's why you see them. You see these guys. They are very economical with what they say, because they understand the magnitude of their words.
Yeah.
Unlike these young guys, like of the chair lady, the SG, they speak too much, and they attract a lot of unnecessary controversy. Because media in Kenya is very sensational in reporting. Yeah. But in my opinion, I think remember, even there was a report that it is Professor Nyong'o who brought Sifuna to Raila Odinga and recommended him to become the SG.
Actually, and this was from the columns that Sifuna was writing in one of the dailies.
Yeah.
That's where Nyong'o fished him from.
Yeah. So you see how powerful that person is. If he can make an individual to become the SG of the party, yeah, that's a very powerful person. So these guys, I know that they are not going to allow this party to disintegrate the way things seem to. But if need be, people are going to be dropped from their positions if they are divisive within the party, if they're not going to adhere with the ideology of the party. I'm sure in the next few months we are going to see some changes, unless these people holding these positions are willing to tone down and maybe focus on building ODM as a party.
Okay, maybe Barack, this is something that I had. Ruth Odinga, and it's quite Judy has just mentioned Ruth Odinga on the comment section. Ruth Odinga is not a member of the NEC.
Yeah.
But it is said that the last NEC meeting that was held remember, there was the worst NEC meeting that was held when Sifuna was not around, especially when Oburu Odinga was being proposed for acting chair party of the ODM. Sifuna was not around. Now the second one, that they came up with the resolution that Sifuna made, that we are going to work with the government until 2027. I'm told the Ruth Odinga attended that meeting, yet she's not one of the NEC. What significance does that one play in that?
That meeting was, ODM has NEC, then they have what they call Central Committee.
Okay.
And she's a member of Central Committee, I think.
So that one was not the NEC. That was a Central Committee.
It was called Central Committee, the one that they came up with the resolutions.
Oh, okay, all right. Then
it was Central Committee. Yeah.
Then that one is okay. That one now I understand. I thought it was NEC. So if it was not, okay, that one is very much good. But I think there's so much that is going to happen, and especially for party like ODM, and it's a party that people are looking into it beyond Raila Amolo Odinga, because Raila Odinga glued this party together, and the party could not survive without Raila Amolo Odinga due to the fact that he was the face of this party. But now we are seeing Raila is not around, and all this that is happening during this time, whereby he tended to have spoken with different people with different messages of this thing. But now, if you look at it categorically, because there are two views that, or two scenarios that I'm seeing, especially when we talk about we are left in the government, you find that and we are not coming out, you find that this being government, especially the legislators from the Luo Nyanza, tend to really focus on that so much. And it means that the Luo community, because they're the people who are left in the government and we are not moving out. But it's not the entirely ODM, because that is a perspective, or is usually something that usually comes out, especially when this conversation about government and broad-based, especially when these legislators are talking. How can they make it to appear so much universal so that even an ODM member in Turkana knows that we were left in government?
Well, this we were left in government narrative is dominant in Luo Nyanza, but also in Coast, where Joho comes from.
Yeah.
And also that lady from Turkana. It depends with what did you get with this we are left in government.
Yeah.
Because ODM have 2 slots in the cabinet. The Coast has 1, Western has 1. Now you look at individuals who are propagating this narrative, and they are out there claiming that they are going to stand. Remember, even the issue of standing with Ruto past 2027. I think it's Rwandai who started this narrative in Taita Taveta sometime when he accompanied Ruto to a development tour of Taita Taveta. And he is the one who started it, and now this other guy, Mbadi now overtook Wandai, and now he is the champion. And remember how he narrates so passionately the relation between the Luo community and the other tribes when it comes now to government. And even remember, even from Coast, the Mombasa governor and the former Mombasa governor, who is now the CS for mining and the blue economy, they are very categorical that they are in government and there is no way they are going out of government. And if you go to Western, the people who are supporting this match is the Kakamega governor,
Fernandez Baraza.
So we have a section, individuals who are in for this, and we have other individuals who are against this. So I don't know, it is because of personal gain, or I'm not really sure, because if you look at for example someone, this guy from Game, who said that he's going to be the chairman he's going to be the director of
yes.
They remember he belongs to the first group that ran away from ODM and joined UDA, if you remember.
Yeah, I do.
So you can say, okay, he developed a soft spot for UDA even before Raila and Ruto just started working together. And if it's about 10-point agenda, do you know that there's nothing like 10-point agenda that will be acted upon by Ruto? This was just a narrative to sustain the relationship. But in reality, even if you ask Ruto, what does those 10 points agenda about? I am sure he can hardly even remember too. So this was just something that was meant for survival of the relation between Raila and Ruto, so that they can continue as they prepare for 2027. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking about 10-point agenda, especially one of them being implementation of NADCO report, and NADCO report, actually, even there was a pronouncement that also was made on it, that it was not anchored in law. And how will you implement it? Even if they bring it to parliament, somebody will have to go to court and stop it.
There's a way Parliament can enact legislation to align with the government agenda. That is the work of Parliament. And remember, they were working on that. They said they started working on that, how to legislate whatever they wanted. Remember the meeting they had in Karen, where they had some problems because Ruto called the legislature as corrupt. And that meeting did not end the way it was expected to end. But they already started now working on that. But now the demise of Raila Odinga is going to stall that, because now bringing these ODM members to Parliament together and these members of UDA together and sell these things to them, that this is going to it is for the good of the country. I think now I don't think he can now manage to get the numbers right now. So that is what sends him to the drawing board. Yeah. And even that NADCO report, do we have anything in that report that Ruto believed in the first place? Because taking too much time to implement something can also mean that you don't believe in the same. Yeah. But NADCO is not a new thing. It was passed, I think, in 2024, in the beginning of 2024. Yeah. So even those who sat in that NADCO committee, the likes of Eugene, who disowned the report and even refused to collect his stipends. Kalonzo Musyoka, who was the co-chair of NADCO report, is now in the other side, United Opposition. And Kimani Ichung'wah, who was also the co-chair, is now singing a different, a two-term agenda. So you find that that NADCO thing was meant to just to cool the temperatures within the country. You remember the civil movement? It was just meant to cool the temperatures, and so that, in Kenya we really love what we call tension management. Yeah. You manage tension, then once it's managed, then we go back to business as usual. So that was used to manage tension at that time. And when now Raila failed AU, now he was coming. Now how old will they tell us that now they're working together? Now they had to come up with what they call 10-point agenda. When people started making noise, no, they said, okay, now we are going to form committees for both ODM and UDA to observe, or to be like the observers of the implementation of this 10-point agenda. Those committees are going to be paid by who? And have they even met since they were selected to monitor the implementation of the 10-point agenda? So these are just what we call tension management and survival tactics for this regime.
And even if you look at the committee that was appointed by President, especially the compensation committee, that was supposed to be headed by Mutua, being assisted by Faith. Faith resigned from it, and that was a big blow for it. Do you see it picking up at some point, or that is the end of it?
When people started resigning from the committee, I think Irungu Horton was the first one from Amnesty International. Then Faith later on succumbed to the pressure. But once the High Court has stopped a committee from operating because people are asking questions. And remember, if you remember, in some time back, we really discussed this thing here, that there was no law that the committee was anchored upon, because you cannot just come up with a committee and the committee will start now saying we will be given 1 million, we will be given 2 million. Based on what law? Yeah. So there was no real, it was like Ruto was doing this knowing very well that it's not going to prevail. So it was like managing. That's why I'm telling you, he knows how to manage this thing. Yeah. When people say, okay, we need to compensate, he comes up with a committee that he knows very well it's not going to work now. So because those members of that panel committee resigned, some of them, he had now to reconstitute the committee afresh. And even that case that is in court, do we even know when it's going to be concluded? Maybe it will be post 2027, maybe. Yeah. So this issue of compensation, and you are compensating people up to when? Yeah. Because we've had injustices in this country. It did not start in 2024, not even 2023, not even 2027. So when the government decide that now we want to start now compensating the victims of police brutality, you must be very clear. You are compensating up to when, and what is the justification of the scope of your compensation? because you must, the period must be justified. We have
Yeah.
decided to consider from this period to this period because of ABCD. So those are the issues that people were asking. Yeah, because you cannot just focus on 1 year. And yes, the previous year people were killed, the other year people were killed. So you want to tell me that these other people are not Kenyans who deserve compensation? Yeah. So these were issues that were not resolved, and that is why there was no way this committee could have been effective in any way.
So and that could be the end of it. And maybe also something that also you can touch on. And now when we are coming to the opposition, especially we look at Kalonzo Musyoka, Natembea. I saw today a photo of Boni Halwale seem to be leaning towards the Natembea axis. And President also says that, okay, the only person who could have given me run for my money, especially in this election, is Raila Amolo Odinga. Watu ndawanyorosha mapema. Are the opposition understanding, or do they really know that what President is saying is true, or they are not taking that one note? They're not taking that note.
The truth is, the biggest threat to Ruto was the Raila Odinga. That's a fact that nobody can run away from.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you looked at, sometimes I look at these people, then I just sympathize with them. If you looked at that photo, you will see Eugene there. You will see Natembea there. You will see Halwale. You will see Malala. All these people are coming from the same community. Natembea and Eugene come from Trans Nzoia. Eugene and Halwale and Malala come from Kakamega County. And Eugene and Malala and Boni, all of them want to become governor in the next election. All of them, they are eyeing to be governor. So you just wonder. So if you parade, you have and now look at the other side. I don't know if we had this guy who was giving people sand instead of fertilizer.
Linturi.
Mithika Linturi was there. Look at Gashagwa. Look at this guy Justin Muturi, Martha Karua. So you find that you are just parading a huge crowd, but like 80% of these people come from they are not distributed across the country. And this is why you hear that this Ruto is looking at them and wondering, are you people really prepared for me? Yeah, and Matiang'i was missing today in action. He was not there. He was not there. So I think that the kind of organization within the opposition is not, if you understand politics, is not inspiring any hope or confidence among people who understand politics. Yeah. Maybe among their fanatic supporters, they will say, now we are growing. But you are growing. These numbers, where are they coming from? Yeah, because if you can parade 4 people from the same community, and these 4 people belong to different political parties from the same community, it's a big joke. Yeah. So they should really look into how they are organizing themselves in terms of organization. Then if you look at how I think when we were mourning Raila Odinga, politics was stopped because of the respect that we had for Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
But right now, because the president is out here, he has really started campaigning thoroughly. And campaigns in Kakamega, in Balava is heated because it's a do or die for UDA, and it's also a do or die for the people like united opposition, because they even dropped. They were united against and behind Seth Panyako. So if they cannot afford to lose that seat. So either side. That's why you see the guy Farouk Kibet these days, he has relocated to Kakamega County. He is waking up in Malava County, and because they know the stakes are very high in this particular election. If Panyako wins this seat, then it's going to be a vote of confidence to the opposition and a vote of no confidence to UDA party. So that is why it is very, very important for UDA not to lose that seat. So opposition now, they have really tried their best, because withdrawing DCP candidate was a plus. If you can give them credit for that. So it really gave Panyako an upper hand, because now all the united opposition votes are going to be to be in one basket. Now UDA has to work extra hard to ensure that they have. So if they can really organize themselves in a way that we are going to see different individuals from across the country, so that they don't just parade people from the same county who are seeking the same seat. Because if you are seeking the same seat, it means that you are going to differ in the next election. Remember, in 2022, Ruto managed to persuade Halwale to withdraw from the gubernatorial race so that he can go for the senatorial race and allow Malala to vie. And Malala ended up being defeated by Baraza. So I am sure Halwale is not going to allow that again, because he's going to call this guy a loser. You lost. I gave you the opportunity last time and you lost. So let me also try my best. Remember, he also lost in 2017. So I don't see how they're going to agree in the near future. But now another thing, are these people national leaders? If you look at them, apart from because we have very few leaders who bring that national face, national image. For example, let me give you an example here. You know, the reason why Ruto preferred to bring Mudavadi closer to him, it is not that Mudavadi will have brought many votes to Ruto, but because Mudavadi brought that national face. If you look at Ruto, Gachagua, and Mudavadi, you could see now we are talking about he neutralized that feeling that this is just a Kalenjin. Yeah, that's why he was brought on board, even though Ruto knowing very well that he will not bring votes. But because of this personality, he managed to bring some kind of he neutralizing that Kikuyu Kalenjin affair, and also Etangula. So there are some individuals, that someone like Kalonzo, Kalonzo has a national face, apart from the fact that he has a support from the Kamba community only, but he brings some kind of national face because he has been a vice president. He has also served in the cabinet for some time. So it's that national outlook that he has. But now tell me another person from Kalonzo who else has a national outlook? Who else brings that national face when you see them? None. So that also is a problem, if you ask me, with the united opposition.
Okay, talking of the by-elections, because there's something here, especially when you look at the by-elections, and where we are so much focusing on, or where we are looking at, is we are looking at where Seth Panyako is, and we are going to Mbere. Then at least where also we tend to put focus is Kasipul Kabondo. Based on the power struggle or testing the waters, especially for the ODM in Kasipul Kabondo, we have Panyako and we have Mbere. And coming to Malawa, Mudavadi, who was actually should be the person spearheading that, he folded his party, and the candidate that is running right now, he's his political appointee. Because remember, the other day, the son of the late MP was complaining of manipulation, especially. He was complaining about Mudavadi. And how can Mudavadi stamp his authority through UDA?
Mudavadi does not have authority to stamp. He does not have influence when it comes to politics, even in Western Kenya. That is why Ruto has dispatched his personal aide to camp in Malava County, in Malava constituency, to be reminding the people there how Ndakwa stands to make them gain when he joins the parliament. Because Ruto knows how Mudavadi is very weak politically. So he cannot entrust him with leading a campaign, even in Western Kenya. And if you've been observing Farouk Ibet, you might not be one of his admirers, but you can agree with me. He's doing a great job for UDA. And remember, he's not elected anywhere. Remember, even we don't even know which position he holds in this country. We're just seeing president's aide. Yeah. But he's playing politics, and even going around, he goes ahead even to speak in Luya, just to make those people get the point clearly. Yeah. So I think that Mudavadi politically he's not very strong. He's just his personality. He's someone who has really benefited from other people's misfortunes, starting from his own father. But he has not really managed to come out as a strong politician who can really compete with the other national leaders. Remember, this guy was in the winning side in 2022, but he lost his governor. He's a member of ODM. His senator is a member of ODM. Even his own member of parliament was a member of UDA. So surely, and his coalition won election. So it means this guy politically, he's not very strong, but he has been just surviving because people see him as a national leader and so on and so forth. But he cannot be trusted to lead an election and win on his own. That one cannot. And I think Ruto has seen that. That's why he has dispatched his Farouk Ibe to help in that by-election.
Okay, this is what somebody is saying. In 2027, all internet media will be down to cover the deceit. We will be here. Our domain server is not in Kenya, so we'll be good. Though the people in Kenya will not be watching us. Then what do you say? The loud question we should ask is, why is Owino Babu popular? That is what we are not seeing. Okay, we will discuss about that too. Thank you so much, my brother, for asking that. And Makobura, I hope we are not keeping you. So there's also something here that I also want you to paint a picture, especially going forward, bearing in mind the history of our political parties, especially when a political party have been given an opportunity to be to run the country. We saw that with the KANU was in power. We saw the PNU, but immediately their time expires, you see that they kind of get out of the space. They don't become so much influence. And we are seeing a situation whereby Jubilee that ruled for 1 year, one term, because the second time is where they change it to Jubilee. President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has decided to give Matiang'i the mantle, actually to be the face of Jubilee as a deputy party leader to negotiate among us, whether he will be negotiating with the government or will be negotiating with the opposition. So Matiang'i is the face of that Jubilee. But bearing in mind that history that we've had, what impact can that one especially create for Mudavadi to even for the Jubilee as a party? Bara?
That is Makobura.
Makobura is sleeping.
Oh, I think if you ask me, I think Matiang'i got it wrong, and I've been saying this thing, and I will not get tired of repeating. Matiang'i got it wrong when he allowed himself to be used by Jubilee to become their presidential candidate. He was not just courageous enough to start his own political party and even just go there in Gusii Stadium, launch that party, and just bulldoze all the Kisii members of parliament to be your supporters. Because the Kisii people are always very united if they have one of their own in the ballot. And he will have a few members of parliament at least to start bargaining with. But in this thing of flogging a dead horse, because Jubilee is a dead horse, completely dead. And there is no amount of anything can resurrect a dead horse. He will flog that horse and get tired. By the time 2027 is here, even nobody will be taking him seriously, because now he cannot drop Jubilee now and start now forming another political party. He could have done that before joining this. He could have agreed with Uhuru Kenyatta, if you want to support me, allow me to build my own. If Uhuru Kenyatta resigned as a party leader of KANU to form TNA so that he can go with the TNA to election, because he knew that KANU cannot go to election and win him any seat. But when he joined TNA, he managed to secure victory in 2023, in 2013, sorry. Yeah. So he is I don't know, Matiang'i does not have supporters who understand politics. I don't know, because it is not possible for Matiang'i to make introducing Jubilee. Jubilee is a dead horse, and even the attempt to resurrect it within Mount Kenya, it will not work because Mount Kenya is DCP. And you will be surprised that even in Gatundu South and North, it's only members of DCP that will be elected, not members of Jubilee.
Do you think Matiang'i missed the moment? Because remember when the first time he came and he had that small meet and greet to Gusii Stadium, and he went to Kisii, the reception was massive. And he was somebody that was being talked about, and he was like, this is the person that we wanted from the reception alone, and the Gusii community especially gave him that. Then along the way, that magnetic that was around him keep on losing that power. Where did he miss this moment?
He missed this moment when he allowed that momentum to slip away. And let me just answer Gypsy Corner. Yes, you have to own a party in Kenya for you to win. Tell me why any individual who has ever won without having his own party. Remember, Gachagua was impeached simply because he did not have his own party for his members of his party to stand with him. And that is why he formed the DCP, so that he can have members, so that those members can stand with his interest, if not him. So in Kenyan politics, there is no one who has won the presidency without having his own party. You cannot go to the presidency with somebody else's party and expect to win. It is not possible. So I think he missed that moment when he was given a heroic welcome. You remember, even governor was there. Governor Simbarati was there. Like all elected leaders from Kisii, if not all of them, but most of them were there.
Yeah.
And remember, even that's the meeting that cost Gloria Uroba has nominated seat in the Senate. So it is, I think, when he allowed that momentum to slip away, and because I think these guys were expecting a declaration from him and coming up with plans to have a party that they will identify with, so that they can propel his candidature. Yeah, they can own his candidature and propel. Kenyan politics is local. Even if you want to run away from it, you must have a base that propels your candidature. Yeah, and that is what he's lacking. Remember, it is only Jeremiah Kioni who is always reminding us that Matiang'i is the Jubilee candidate. Kioni is not elected member of parliament. You can imagine if the elected leaders from Kisii were the one behind Matiang'i's candidature and propelling him to become a national leader, I think it could have worked him magic more than what Jubilee is doing, because I think things are not rosy for him with using this dead horse called Jubilee.
But did he at some point look around the Gusii land? Because I don't think like they lack any political party in the pipeline, people from the Gusii land, or any active any active political party that he would have gone and maybe buy that and say that, okay, let me get the support from home. Because like as you said, that when you look at our politics is local, and for you to be in good books of negotiation, you have to have a region that backs you, especially when you're looking at Matiang'i. Even if they will be going for negotiating on the table, what are you bringing? You're bringing Jubilee. And who is the face of this Jubilee? Definitely it will be Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And that one make you a weaker negotiator on the table, did he foresee that, or he was carried away with the love that maybe the Gen Z had for him and say that you're the key to the answers that we are looking for?
I think banking on that, on the imagination love of Gen Z is not being wise politically,
Mm.
because Gen Z is not a voting bloc that you can be bank on.
Yeah.
You remember right now. I don't know if you saw the figures from IBC. Those who are
90,000.
90,000. Imagine
Yeah.
that is not even. Some constituencies have more voters than that.
and
Some
and and
constituencies.
and you know, Barack, and I think that one will be very advantageous to President William Ruto.
Absolutely.
What is happening when you look when he look at those figures and say, okay, now that is working, is not working against him, but for him.
Because expectation was the so-called Gen Z will be scrambling to register as voters. They almost stampede running to register as voters. But what we are seeing right now is more than a month. But 90,000, not even voters of one constituency. So that is why I'm saying any politician who in his imagination thought that they are banking on the Gen Z votes and not focusing on the other factors that inform the voting patterns in Kenya, that is not a wise policy. Maybe they don't have expert advice, and they are working on emotions and so on and so forth, believing that a miracle will happen and votes will just be coming from somewhere to fall in the ballot boxes. That is not how people prepare to win seats. And you know, him also being that he has never been a politician, that also is also a factor, because politics in Kenya is very dynamic. Yeah. So him having not run as a politician, I think he needed more expert advice from his side, as opposed to relying on the retired president and someone like Kioni. This, they are looking for how to make their party survive, and maybe to become relevant, and maybe block DCP from spreading in Central. Yeah.
No, for what I know right now, I don't think there is any force that can stop DCP from spreading in Mount Kenya. I think DCP is going to be popular in Mount Kenya than any other political party. And remember, the Jubilee that now Matiang'i has been appointed to be the deputy. Remember, it has undergone so much struggle, especially when the likes of Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega were running away with it. You don't know whether they can still go back, even though they've lost it, but they can still go back just to destabilize the party, so that they buy time, especially for president, to make president to create more strategy on how to maneuver in central Kenya. So and there's our friend is saying here, whoever is supporting Matiang'i is headed for a dark age. That is what he says. Yeah. So
and let me ask you a simple question. Do you think the Kisses can own Jubilee and seize as their own party?
No, that's definitely something that is not
there's a disconnect between Jubilee and with the people. Let me just say many people in this country. So I think that's why sometimes I look at the United Oppositions, and and when they are told they are disorganized, they start complaining, because you are not.
Barack, I think when you're looking at united opposition, and now when you bring all of them, including Matiang'i and all that, I think on the bargaining table, Matiang'i is the weakest, and that's why, like, I don't think like Rigathi Gachagua even is disturbed. He's okay with Matiang'i because he doesn't come with anything on the table as far as political parties. Because sometimes Barack, sometimes I feel like we are not truthful to ourselves, especially when we're looking at these political parties. We know Kenya would not reach a point whereby we are having a political party that is independent. You know, if we could have been having an independent political party, and this is a lesson that we should learn as a country. Look at now what is happening in ODM. You know, if it was in countries whereby you have people like Democratic Party, you know, even if a very influential person passes away, that one does not interfere with the popularity of the party and the structures of the party and who is who, you know.
Yeah.
But and it is a big lesson that people should, the death of Raila Odinga should make us investigate so many things in terms of the independency of our political party and the democracy of our political party. How can we make our political parties stronger by having structures, you know, and they do not have persona behind them?
And I agree with you, because if you look at parties, leave alone outside Africa, within Africa, and let me just use example of here in Tanzania, where people are complaining so much.
Yeah.
When John Pombe Magufuli passed on after winning second term, he served only 5 months and he passed on. There was no crisis within CCM.
Yes, there was.
There was no crisis within the leadership of Tanzania, because CCM, being a very structured and very strong political parties, they knew who should do what and who should take over from who. And you did not hear anywhere where there was a sign of a crisis. Now look at ANC of South Africa. ANC of South Africa is a party that has even sacked 2 presidents. ANC, when Thabo Mbeki became unpopular, they dismissed him.
Yeah. 6
months to the end of his term, he was dismissed. And the person who came as who inherited Thabo Mbeki as Jacob Zuma, he also suffered the same fate when he was accused of corruption. ANC dismissed him as the president, not as a party member.
As a party member.
Yeah, as the president of the country. And there was no crisis within the leadership of the party. Yeah. So we as a country, that's why we usually say that we do not have political parties in Kenya. What we have are special purpose vehicles that are used either to acquire power or to maintain power. But they are not political parties, because there is no political party that operates without structures, that a president used a party to win, then he dismantled that party, he comes out with another party as his second term. Where does that happen? Where in this world?
And to add something on what you are saying, even on what now you hear, especially from members of ODM who feel that President William Ruto should be a flag bearer of ODM. So you ask yourself, why? And he has his own political party that he should be running, or he should be finding how should be strong enough, you know. But now he is so many ODM members saying that, and even him himself during the burial of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, he said that he will make sure that ODM does not go into opposition. And you ask yourself now, where is the democracy of those political parties? And that's why Orengo was talking about, do not kill political parties, you know, because when it reaches a point whereby the head of state is saying that he's going to make sure that ODM does not go to, or is not going back to the opposition, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And he was saying as who? As
yes.
an ODM leader, or as who?
Or as a head of state.
And as the head of state, do you dictate which party belongs to opposition, which party belongs to government?
No, you don't.
So I think we joke a lot with with political parties in this country. And just what you said here, that an ODM party member telling the president to come and become their flag bearer. Mm-hmm. And remember, that's a deputy party leader speaking. A deputy party leader inviting, because you are among the founders. Yeah. Founders who left ODM and went and formed URP. From URP, they formed Jubilee. From Jubilee, he is now in UDA. So he's in his third political party since leaving ODM. That is the person that you are calling that come back and become our flag bearer. So it means that within ODM, there are no people with ambitions to become anybody. Yeah.
And this is something that we've always spoken, we always speak about. Even it's not only with ODM, it's also something with the Wiper. Take for example, change of name. Wiper, it came from ODM Kenya, it went to Wiper, and now it went to Prosperity Front what? And what is the ideology, or what does change of the name bring to the public, yet the leadership has remained intact? There's nothing that has really changed, even in the structures. What have changed is that the naming, and now you tend to claim that even Martha's Karua party, it's a change for the Kenya to I don't know the name right now. Yeah.
Kenya.
Yeah, from NAC Kenya to another political party. But like everything has maintained, Martha is still the party leader, and all the ideology and the decision that are made are still with him. Did you know that even in these political parties that we have, these political parties, NEC, that they say that the NEC and all that usually say they make the decision. Do you know they don't make those decisions?
They don't.
Decisions are being made by the political party owners.
Yeah.
Yeah. The delegates are there to tell you how democratic or what the constitution of the party say, but the delegates usually do not have a say in that. Because remember, even ODM, because like is the party that is the biggest and the largest that people are looking. But now, even in a situation whereby you've signed an agreement, and the Secretary General is questioning the agreement that he signed, and you're still working, then you tell me that is democracy. That is not democracy, because the things that are usually made by the party unanimously, this is the stand of the party. So if this is the stand of the party after agreement, no, you have to. That's why you are being whipped. We are whipping our members. And this is the stand that we have as a party. So those members who still feel that they're not aligned or are not agreeing with this, no. So that's why you find that before they make these kind of decisions, they will first of all call for a PG, and they will be briefed on what we are going to do. From there, you are going to discuss, and where a member of parliament feels that, okay, I'm not agreeing, that's where you air your grievances and say, okay, we are not going to agree, this is what. Then you vote from there. So the majority will take the way. So after majority take the way, then you will have to go with what the party does. That's why we call the de-whipping of you have to whip your people, or your party members. But you find that then you are being told those are the party democracy. No, they're not like that.
That is not party democracy. That is indiscipline.
Mm.
And that is what also undermines the growth of political parties. Because you know that in Kenya, we have the most indisciplined members of political parties.
Yeah.
Because you'll find that people even make comments about party leadership, that comments that do not really go very well in terms of those who are listening. And also we have what we call lack of principles, because it is lack of principle that will make an individual sign something and he continue denouncing what he has signed. That is lack of principle, because if you don't believe in something, if your principle, you step aside from that position. You say, as an individual, I do not agree with the position of the party. Therefore, I am, as a principal leader, I'm not willing to continue holding this position, because my position will always put me at the limelight in terms of whatever the agreement that we signed. But because we don't, and even this also goes along with the to the voters, because the voters
Yeah.
did not distinguish leaders with principles. They think that leaders who are rude are the best leaders, or leaders who are hardliners, or leaders who I don't. So they mistake indiscipline with lack of principles. Yeah, because
Mm.
if you ask me, why is it that when Sifuna denounces the broad-based government, people are celebrating him? Yeah, and remember, if you listen to the resolution that they signed, that he read from, he the one who wrote those resolutions from the Central Committee meeting. He said that as a party they are committed to broad-based government until 2027.
Yeah.
Those were his statement. And then the following day, he's saying in another forum that broad-based government does not exist anywhere, according to him.
Yeah.
So that is what we call lack of principled leadership. And
Mhm.
this is really affecting even the growth of democracy within our countries. Yeah, because democracy, uh, if you look at mature democracies, when members of parliament meet, you cannot agree on everything, but you mentioned that you are whipped, so you go in a closet,
Mm.
PG, where you were told this is the position of the party A, B, C, D.
Mm.
If you have any question, you ask there. But now, when you come out of that meeting, you are speaking the position of the party, and that's why even in cabinet, there's what we call there's what we call is it collective agreement,
Yeah.
where
Collective.
the position of the cabinet, even if you are not supporting it within the cabinet meeting, but after that,
After that.
you because you are part of the cabinet, and
Mhm.
we are saying that the cabinet of Kenya has made these resolutions. So you
Yes.
cannot start saying no, I was not part of that because I did not support that one.
Mm.
My friend, in a mature democracy, you will be kicked out immediately. In fact,
Yeah.
you will even resign before you are sacked.
Yeah.
But because we lack discipline,
Mm.
you will hear someone like JB Muturi refusing to attend cabinet meetings, saying that until his agenda is put in the cabinet, then that's when he will come. And he's drawing salary from the public, and people say, oh, now you are the way when you do, you are the leader. Which leader? We
And
don't understand discipline. And
and,
it's
and,
really,
and yeah.
yeah.
And something also that I tend to see, even the voters themselves are not aware. I would say that I would call it the 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 political illiteracy of what are your roles, especially when you subscribe to ideology of a particular party. That majority of times the decisions that they make, is not their own decisions. They are decisions that are informed by the people that they are supporting, and these decisions are made due to transactional, like their decisions or their loyalty is loyalty that is being bought, and that's why you find that even members of one particular party, when they compete amongst themselves, you find that their fun, their political funds, those who are allied to their ideology, will always fight and kill themselves. And the reason is that I don't think they understand what being a member of that particular party is. They are in those particular parties because of a member of parliament or somebody who is interested in elective seats, who gives them money for them to
Yeah.
support them.
Mm.
And that's why when they meet, instead of even arguing on in terms of issues, they find themselves uh, toiling, or hiyo marungu wanapigana. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Kwa sababu they do not understand the reason why they are in that political party. Two, the reason even why they are supporting that particular candidate, because they know they show their powers or their prowess through violence. That's how they express themselves. Yeah. And
And
majority of
when
them, they end up losing their lives.
and we have leaders who thrive in that.
The, actually majority of them.
Most of them thrive in that.
Because like I think it was it the other day. I don't know whether it came across you. I saw somebody shared with me a video, especially in Kasipul Kabondo. There was a video that somebody shared on one of the platforms where there was this guy was stopping the border guys, and like the guy was just taking off panga, like, and I say like, why? And remember, you are coming from the same constituency.
So politics, I think, the culture, the political culture in our country is enshrined on violence, and it does not really matter whether you come from the same ward, the same constituency, the same county. The violence that we witness at the national level is normally devolved. Yeah. Because if you can take an example of even a county like Migori and look at how they conduct their gubernatorial elections, you'll hear that supporters of Obado have fought with supporters of Ochilo, and we have casualties. Others have lost their lives.
During nomination, now, if you look at how the supporters of Mark Nyamita and Ochilo
are behaving,
they're not peaceful. Where they meet, it is a war.
And I remember even in constituencies, some constituencies, so that is devolving to at the ward level. You find that people who are coming from this side, across the river, the other side, if they meet, is war. And you wonder, and these are people who are coming from the same locality. They even share the same market, the same school, the same hospital, and they are killing each other because of politicians. So you find that the problem, the politics is anchored on violence because we don't have issue-based politics.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I think this was a few. It was like a few months before, a few weeks before Baba passed, the demise of Baba, whereby I saw the governor from Migori went to he was in Ramogi TV, and he was claiming that there are some parts of the county, especially Uriri constituency, that you could not collect revenue. You know, like how they do it with the toll. Unajua that kamba yenye unaweka unakuja unapita, eh?
Yeah.
I heard him saying that there's some parts of the constituency where you could not collect those revenue because maybe the political differences with I don't know how true that was. I can quote him. I don't know true that was, but if it was true, it also have to dawn to you as somebody who wants to become a governor, because one of the things that you have to know that you usually collect revenue, even though it's an old way of collecting revenue, because like there's no accountability. The people who are collecting those revenues, sometimes they end up becoming rich than even the county, because how utajua ni pilipiki ngapi zimepita leo ukatoa saa zingine si mtu anatoa hata 5 na unaambia wewe pita, kwa sababu there's no accountability. But it should dawn to you as somebody who wants to become a leader, because the only way that the county usually collect revenues those are some of the ways that county collect revenue. So if it is a point whereby the political differences is making you not to stop the county itself from collecting revenue just because of political difference, and then that one does not make sense to me.
Yeah, and it portrays weaknesses of even institutions.
Sabotage, because this guy is the governor, yes, but now you are sabotaging him because he will not collect revenue, which means that some of the services he will not deliver.
And that is it's a crime. Sometimes we make allegations and we not really, I don't know, because that obstructing institutions from conducting their constitutional mandate, I think that is a crime, and especially denying a government agency the right to collect taxes, because that's a constitutional duty. The government cannot run without taxes. So I think if that is the case, then the governor is led from taking legal action against the member of parliament.
Yeah.
And just imagine if he succeeds to become the governor, and now he was told now you can only collect taxes in Uriri constituency. The rest of the constituency says no, you are going.
No.
How will he run the county?
So I heard it in the radio, so I don't know whether how or that one, because they are all politicians. You want to paint your opponent in a bad way, but if it was true what he was saying, then that is not good.
But the behavior of our politicians, I doubt if because we've seen how they are behaving. I don't know if you remember during there's sometimes that even in some parts of the country, the portrait of Uhuru Kenyatta was being removed, in 2017, and replaced by the ones of Raila Odinga. Saying
Raila,
this
yes,
so,
I
so
can
in
remember.
this country, how our politicians behave, it's just so funny.
No, do you know that day during that time? I used, because like I tell you, even because by then I was working in Kisumu, so majority of our clients, especially, were from around Kisumu. So when they come to the office, they just tell you hii picha tutaki kuona hapa, lakini nawaambia hapana. Unajua sasa hapa sasa si siasa, hapa ni kazi, lakini pia lazima tuheshimu sheria. Unaona, kuna ile wakati pali siasa inafika na pali sheria ipo, unaona. So that is
They
something.
don't understand.
Yeah,
the responsibility of a state and the limitation, because when you are when you are a country, one country under one leadership, you cannot start behaving funnily that we don't recognize. You are paying taxes to that government.
You are paying taxes,
whether you like it or not. And remember, you are even holding a passport
for
in
that
the name
country.
of the president. Passport you in the name of the president. Yeah. So when you go to another different country, you are going to present a Kenyan passport, and the president leading to those people grant him access, and you are saying you do not recognize that president. It just it shows you the ignorance of the okay, we say that Kenya, we have high levels of literacy, but in terms of political rights and responsibility of the citizens, we are very, very ignorant. Yeah, because so I think our politics sometimes it has made some people, maybe say voters, to behave in a way that that portrays them as people who don't understand issue-based politics. That's why they are always ready to fight. They are always walking around with machetes and ready to cut each other. Others are armed with even crude weapons and stones in the name of politicians.
Yeah, and that's why you say that we say that we high level of literacy we do have in our country. But now, when it comes to politics, I think like we need to especially learn more. The majority of the larger population, especially, still do not understand or do not get how the politics work. This is why do people being threatened by a picture frame? Because of political emotions. You're being convinced because you're being convinced that that is the right way. Remember, I don't know whether remember the guy who said evidence iko hapa kwa karatasi. You know what happened when we were in Mamboleo the day before Raila came to Kisumu. He's called Mr. Garang. Do you know that I had an opportunity to interview that guy? Yeah. So, and there's a way in which sometimes even how we want to go to the political offices, sometimes we feel that based on the love that we have for our political leaders, you feel like to the extent how I love this person, the only thing that I can do, I have to be I have to get a political seat. Actually, is vying for MCA for Nyalenda. No, for Kondele. He said that he's vying for MCA for Kondele. And in our midst of talking, he was saying that he knew that Baba was going to assist him to get that seat, but for now, he don't know whether he's going to get that seat. I
Yes,
say, like, okay, my friend. And even there's a clip that immediately people were comparing it. He was crying and all that, and I was just late to because like the person who was editing for us actually did not do it as fast as we could, because I came to learn there was somebody that we were, because like it was a joint interview, like where all the mics are there.
Yeah.
So what happened? There was these guys who have been in this field and experience. They have their laptop there, and immediately they do that. They edit it. With us, we did it, and we were still going back home. By the time we were still doing our edit, it was already trending. It was already on the social media. And I say, okay. But I had a conversation with him one-on-one. He wants to run for MCA office for Kondele. So I told him, I wish you the best, but it's tough over there. I don't know how people have it in Kondele, but it is high-stake politics. Apart from money, there's also the loyalty. There are some, let me tell you, my friend, there are some elective posts in some areas that you don't just get it.
Yeah.
If you have to get it, sometimes you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt how loyal you are.
And that's a big challenge, especially Kisumu town. Anything to do with Kisumu town.
Yeah.
It's like Nairobi town. So there are some some constituencies in Nairobi, even some words that are very, very competitive. And there's a lot that plays out before someone is elected, and that is why in 2022, Raila had to intervene to ensure that Dagoretti North Member of Parliament, Biti Selachi, is elected, and she ended up being the only female Member of Parliament in Nairobi. Because she did not go to nomination. Because if it could have gone to nomination, it would have not gotten it.
And
because of high stakes.
Even if you look at Beatrice Elachi, Beatrice Elachi was not a member of ODM.
Yeah, she was not.
She was a member of Jubilee, and I don't know how they negotiated it, and she had to be given the certificate. And that one still points to you what we were talking about, the political party democracy. How does the political party democracy works in our country? Yeah. Even if you look at you look at Tuju, even Tuju. Do you know how Tuju became a member of Rarieda? Actually, Tuju, when he was getting that nomination, he was not in the country, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like the people people were there before, who have been campaigning, who were member. It was LDP, or which was it? LDP? I don't think
LDP.
It was
that
not
was
ODM. Yeah,
that
LDP. Yeah, by the time he was coming, everything was already done for him, and boom, Rafael Tuju is the nominee, and he won. And they differed along the way, and this is another thing that usually happens. After being given this certificate or a political platform, one of the things that you should not do, disloyalty will disqualify you. You have to be very loyal. Because people like Tuju, after getting that opportunity, they became with an independent mind of serving the people. Yeah. But what happened along the way? It's now you are an enemy, because now there is this situation whereby you are bringing project, but the project that you are bringing is seen as, okay, you want to undermine somebody.
Yeah.
Or you're working with our enemy.
They are interpreted differently.
Yeah. So I tell you, my friend, we are still very far, but I hope with time we will.
Our people, they ended up even destroying those mobile hospitals
And remember, they're destroying these mobile hospitals, and the people are benefiting from them.
And Tuju ended up being a one-time member of parliament. Tuju was a promising leader from the
Yeah.
Luo community.
Yeah.
But he ended up being a one-time member of parliament. And in 2007, when Raila was the candidate for ODM, Tuju went to campaign in Rarieda, and he went with the millions.
Yeah.
He was chased away with those money.
Leave about that. I can remember. Leave about that. I don't know. He used to have a party. I don't know whether his party has a yellow color, something of the sort, and some green. I don't know.
Later on, in 2013, he formed a political party.
Yes, and when it has a bus something. It was like a bus kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember he gave out his itinerary, and one of the places he was going to pass was Condell. Yeah. Said, this guy, you're not serious. How could you? And something that usually also happens that I've seen, especially if they don't want you, they don't want you together with your money.
Exactly. Yeah, that is it.
Kama they cannot hawatasikiza hata ulete pesa ambako ulete, watakupiga na hiyo pesa.
That money. They will burn that money.
They will burn that money. And that's something that I've always seen. And it makes the Luo to be, I don't know how I can say, the kind of people they are. Wakiamua wameamua.
And that is how these people, let me use the easiest word, worshipped Raila.
Mm-hmm.
And to ensure that you have a supporters who will value you. You are not giving them anything, any material gain. There's nothing, but they follow you, and they are ready even to destroy material things that they are being given to show loyalty to you. That kind of loyalty, building a fan, that kind of fanatics, is not easy, and that's why you see the leaders in ODM currently, they don't understand that this is a process. It does not just happen that now Raila is dead, now I'm the kingpin. You people should just transfer the law. It doesn't work like that.
I sometimes I look at especially the person that I pity most is the county government, the county boss of Homa Bay. Because something that Gibson Connor say that about something that you said about Wanga. Wanga was introduced to politics by the late Otieno Kajwang. That's the person who introduced her to politics. And she had to be a hardcore for quite some time. Then she came. The first position was the women rep position, right?
Yeah, she was a women rep. Then she went for the governor.
Actually, they were the first people in the new constitution dispensation that came with the governorship, right?
The first beneficiaries.
Yeah, the first beneficiaries. And this was in the courtesy, the person who introduced him, even to bring him closer to the attention of the Right Honorable Prime Minister. I think it was Otieno Kajwang. As you know, Otieno Kajwang was very, very, very close to the Right Honorable. Actually, if to say, this is something that of all the people that have been around Raila, somebody who was not a psychophant to Raila was Otieno Kajwang. That is, nobody will take that away from Otieno Kajwang Mapambano. That was a true, if you want to know a true soldier of Baba in the political, is Otieno Kajwang.
Yeah.
Yeah, Otieno Kajwang was very true.
Even Orwa Ojode, if you remember Orwa Ojode very well.
Yeah.
You remember he refused, when Railas were removed from cabinet in 2005 after defeating Kibaki.
Yeah.
Orwa Ojode was appointed Minister for Environment, and he declined.
Yeah.
Yeah, he refused. He said he cannot take that position.
Yeah.
Those were, I think death took away strong leaders early.
Otieno Kajwang, and talking about Otieno Kajwang was this person who would cool even the political tension. in the country. And and how he used to do it is through his political comical. He was a very comedian politician. Based on what he was saying in the rally, I don't think even the opposition would get tired of Otieno Kajwang based on how he used to talk and how he used to create jokes. I don't think so. You would listen to Otieno Kajwang and just start laughing, you know. And they had decorum. They had decorum, even how to address the president, despite the fact that he was a very close ally of Baba. But Otieno Kajwang, you know, during the campaigns, I did not hear Otieno Kajwang. You see what Junet does. Junet did during the time when they were having campaigns with Baba, and compare that with Otieno Kajwang. Otieno Kajwang, Ruo Huru, nasikia huko umekuwa moto, kama uwezi pika kwa jikoni toka. You know.
And I think if Otieno Kajwang could have been here,
yeah,
I don't think we could have been having problems in who should take over the leadership of ODM.
Mapambano was too comical. You could not know whether he's serious or not serious.
But he was a good leader.
No,
one of the best that we lost.
Something that you cannot take away from the late Otieno Kajwang. Of all the politicians from the Luo region that Baba has worked with, that I've seen around Baba, Otieno Kajwang, I cannot say that he was somebody who was a sycophant. No, Otieno, the love for Baba from Otieno Kajwang was very genuine.
Yeah,
was very genuine.
It was not having some strings attached.
No. That is, and I saw he lost his wife. His wife died, and I'm not seeing quite much going on.
Yeah, he lost his wife the other day. I think it was just the other day, last week. I don't know, Friday or something. Yeah.
Barak, I don't know whether tomorrow you will be around. I want to talk about democracy in Africa. Is it a lie or true? True. There's something that we are told about democracy, but when you look at the democracy in Africa, especially some countries, for instance, you look at what is happening in Uganda, for instance, you look at what is happening in Cameroon, and this one characteristic that comes out is about corruption of all these long-serving leaders, but you're told that is democracy. And you find that even where our democracy was borrowed from, especially the Western countries, they still tell you that is democracy, whereby you have people who are just going without time limits, and that is still democracy. So I hope if you are there tomorrow, God willing, we will have to talk about it and look at and what would you say about democracy? Gibson Connor also reminded us here that it said something about democracy here. I saw she wrote something about democracy here. What did? Okay, this is what he said. Brother Ben, media in Kenya, democracy is defined differently. It depends on who is performing it.
Well, I think that's a very pregnant point, a very pregnant topic. That very interesting. And I hope you know democracy is it does not have a universal definition that is agreed upon even by scholars. So it's a strong point that I'm willing to participate in discussing this.
Okay.
Yeah. So just create time tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Tuesday.
We hope that everything will be okay.
Okay. I hope your lecturers are still demanding for 7.9 billion. That's a kubwa. Who thinks? Where will you get that money? Where do they think government can get that money from? Anyway,
the government has money. That is what they are saying. And let me just tell you something. You know, this 7.9 billion. I hope you know the history behind it.
Yes, I know.
It is a problem that was left here by President Uhuru Kenyatta when he was going home. This CBA was negotiated in 2007, in 2017, 20 to 2021. when he was seeking his second term. Yeah. So they signed this CBA and he never paid even a penny. He
You know, Barack, let me tell you, and this is why sometimes I usually tell you that sometimes the priority of the government or those who are in the government, sometimes they do um, for this formality. It's just doing for the sake. You know, if you forget about even what the lecturers, the CBA for lecturers, we've had so many CBAs, especially be it for the doctors, be it for the teachers, you know, all sectors. But what sometimes surprises me, these CBAs are being signed, and you know, they're not being honored. If you know you're not going to honor those CBAs, why then sign them?
yeah.
Why? Why then go and to ban the midnight oil? You are having negotiations, say that we are going to give you this and this and this and this. Then at the end of the day, and they are always political.
Yeah.
They are
That is the
always
biggest
political.
problem. And the timing of the
The
signing
timing.
is always very suspicious.
Yeah. Like right now, the first years who reported to school, you know, these people, they're just doing cuts through online. And the semester is almost over.
But in most universities there is no learning, especially like University of Nairobi. There is no learning that is taking place, and the semester will have to be to start afresh once this thing is over. They'll
And,
have to restructure the semester, and it's like because the students were on campus for only for 2 weeks, then the strike
yeah.
started. So it means the semester will just have to start afresh.
And you know, Barack, when you look at some countries, you know, higher learning institutions are like research centers. This is where the research are usually being done.
Yeah.
And if this is where the research are being done, and you know, for a month or for almost 3 months, and there's nothing that is taking place, and we are telling ourselves, you know, these are questions that sometimes that how is our roadmap to Singapore? You know, you have to, because like if we have to go to Singapore, or we have to go to Singapore way, you cannot go with halfway or a quarter of the country or a quarter of the project. Is something that is a collectiveness. Yeah. When we are going to Singapore, we are not going to go to Singapore that we are looking at economy, we are looking at maybe affordable housing. No, we are going to Singapore, we are looking at affordable housing, we are looking at our health sector, we are looking at our educational sector, we are looking at, it is an holistic. So when we are going to Singapore, we are going together, that roadmap. But if we say that we have this vision that we are going to Singapore, that president has talked about it, majority of the candidates who are running, you know, even Kalonzo, all this, they're talking about we want to go the Singapore way. But they just want to go to Singapore through the leadership or through one project. That one is not going to be achieved.
Let me ask you, those people who are singing about Singapore, can even ask one of them to tell you if they know how Singapore became Singapore that they are talking about. Do you know they think that the Singapore just slept and woke up? They slept in third world and they woke up in first world.
Yeah.
It is not by mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother, thank you so much for your time. I know Makubura was very tired, and I really, really appreciate your time. Tomorrow, if I find time, we'll talk about the democracy in Africa in relation to Tanzania too. You know, there's so much that we are still witnessing, and what are we learning? Because like, what are we learning, especially from Tanzania? There's a big, like, you know, Uganda is having an election. I know they will shut down the internet. What makes you think that maybe Kenya, we cannot shut down the internet when the election comes? Yeah. So those are just conversations. Thank you so much, Mr. Barak, and I hope to engage you tomorrow. To our good viewers on the comment section also, thank you so much, Mr. Goodyear and Gibson Connor, for taking your time to be with us. May God bless you, and we will meet tomorrow. If you're new here, this is Brother Benson Media, and you can subscribe so that when we go live, the YouTube will notify you. Thank you so much, and may God bless you all. Mr. Barak.
Bye-bye, and thank you for also for coming in and taking over from Marco Bura.
All right.
And also thank you for the comments, those viewers who are keeping us active on comment section. Have a blessed night wherever you are, a blessed day, and see you next time tomorrow.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless you.